Yes, people! God, you caught me on a stretch. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this match preview of Real Madrid versus Chelsea in the Champions League. Chelsea on the back of another defeat to Wolves under Frank Lampard's first game. We are going to be talking about the team lineups, but before we get into that, we're also going to be talking about a little bit of just news in and around Chelsea, from what we've heard in the last couple of days as well. Sorry we didn't do a match reaction to Wolves. I was out in Manchester. I didn't even watch the game. I watched 10 minutes and I turned it off. I'll be honest with you. I have nothing to say in regards to that performance. We'll talk about it partially, as we always do. Let me just quickly sort out this because I've got bad internet at the moment. We'll go through the team lineups. We'll talk about, obviously, Frank Lampard's press conferences later on today at 5 o'clock as well. A little bit of news in and around Chelsea as well, which we're going to start with as well. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well, and let's cue that intro. People, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another match preview to the UEFA Champions League against Real Madrid. Chelsea versus Real Madrid away. We're going to get into that. We're going to have the panel coming in sooner rather than later who are going to be joining us throughout the show as well. We'll quickly go through saying hello to everyone in the chat. Big up to Jack. He's a short answer. No, they won't. It's Madrid, guys. Going to be 10-2 over 2 legs. I'm scared for us and Lamps. I'm starting to get that against all odds. Big up to Jack. Big up to Samir as well in the building. I'm good, bro. Leo's in the building as well. Chelsea OG. RD in the building. We have got Surfs as well. Steve's in the building. Eric. Jonah. Oggy. What's up, Gabby to Chelsea? We're going to talk about that, actually. We're going to talk about that as well. Sean, big up to you as well. I'm not really bad, but I'll be praying tomorrow. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I want this. I don't know. I just want this season to end. I'll be honest with you. That's how I feel right now. I get bored of talking about Chelsea at the moment because it's just saying the same things. We're saying the same things every time. It doesn't matter what management comes in, who it is. You know, you have to look at what we have at our disposals and how the players are also playing as well. And obviously, you know, you have to look at the manager because the manager has to try and find something in them. But at the moment, it's just really peak. I'll be honest with you. It's just really peak watching Chelsea. I don't know what to expect with the Champions League because I don't think they need much motivation. I think Champions League is something that motivates players individually. I think the Premier League, they're just written off. I don't see them interested, which is very weird. You know, they're just not interested in it. And it's probably hard for them to motivate themselves as well. Big up to Wolf as well. It says it's tomorrow, bro. It's tomorrow. Tonight we've got Man City, Bayern Munich, though. So you can always check that game out as well, guys. It's just peak. Big up to Jonah. Big up to Daniel as well. Guys, over 100 of you guys here already. Big up to every single one of you guys that are in here. Can you please do me a favor? Smash the likes. We are going to talk about the Madrid-Chelsea game a little bit later in the show. But we're going to jump on a little bit of news in and around the club. Chelsea will get things right at some point. It just depends if we appoint the right manager regarding how long it takes for our lift off. We're like a ship at sea. It's true, Carl. It's true. You hope that it kicks in and works at some point, but also the new manager that comes in, and I think this is why we haven't done it now, is because they want a fresh, clean start. Why would they want to take over the mess we got? And I know people keep talking about the Champions League and whatever else, and I get that. But to be able to implement something with what you have at the moment, I know Thomas Tuchel did it, and it worked, don't get me wrong. You know, he got the best out of what he had. But a lot of managers maybe don't want to take that decision. Maybe a lot of them look at it and go, well, actually, I want a fresh start with these players, pre-season, players that I want to bring in through that summer, get rid of as well, because there's going to be a lot of getting rid as well. So there's a lot why I don't think, you know, an Enrique and Angelsman have wanted to come in right now. Big up to Pez Lord. Oh, damn. I get bored. That's why I've not really been to, you know, think. That's how I feel. We're just not used to this as Chelsea fans. But at the same time, I think we're just going to have to take it on the chin and just hope that we pull through this, right? Because, you know, What's this news about Gavi? We're going to talk about that in a second. So let's get into things, guys. Big up to all of you guys. The 150 of you here already, but let's start with the news and around Ben Chilwell, because there was a bit of worry around Man City trying to take Ben Chilwell from Chelsea. I never thought so. Others seem to think that he was going to go and we were going to sell him because our owners will look at him as value and he will want to go. Well, that got squashed pretty quickly. Ben Chilwell will sign a new long-term deal with Chelsea this week. It will be valid until 2027. Two clubs were interested in Ben Chilwell as a potential option for the summer. Man City was obviously one of them. I don't know who the other one was. But, you know, he's taking, I believe, from what we understand, around 200k. Let's have a quick look. Is there something here about him? Ben Chilwell has landed himself a pay rise with the new contract, taking his total wage to over 200k a week. Now, if Ben Chilwell can stay fit and he doesn't have any injuries, then maybe maybe it's fine, especially if we get Ben Chilwell back in his prime, because he is a good player. He's a top player, and we saw it under Thomas Tuchel as well, I don't know. It don't shock me. It don't shock me. If a new 4-year deal, I don't think he would go anywhere anyway. Chilwell's on 190k per week this season, carries an annual cost of 18.8 million, which is initially around 9 million of this initial fee. Extending to 2027 and a pay bump to 210 a week makes his estimated annual cost 15.4 million, remaining 80 million of fee now spread over 4 years, not 2. Chelsea and rewards an important player. Cheaper on the reward. So basically, we've extended the overall but of what we owe for Ben Chilwell and managed to do that by lengthening the contract out. So if we had 2 years left, we've now got 4 years because we've renewed it with him. Obviously, yes, he gets more money, but in the long term, with the 4 years, it seems like we're managed to get it worked out cheaper for us on the books. And this is something that Todd Bowley and Igbali have been looking to do. They managed to bring over Enzo Fernandez very cheap, as we already know. Mudryk as well. These guys are not on huge, they're not on massive wages. This is something that they're looking to do. So Ben Chilwell will stay at Chelsea for another what seems to be 4 years. Big up to Bobby in the house as well. Hope you're well. Guys, bump up the likes, like he's saying as well, if you haven't done already. Big up to Bobby as well. Just big up January Chancellor has taught the FIFA merchants that all the flicks and tricks don't get you to the outfield outcomes you need. I agree, Bobby. I agree, bro. Great for Chile, but what about Matson? He's killing it for Burnley. Yeah, but these are decisions we're going to have to make, because let's just be serious. When we get to the summer window, we are going to have a lot of decisions to make in terms of who we keep, who we loan, who we sell. Chelsea, this new manager that comes in the summer has got a big job of making decisions who he takes as his 25 squad going into the next season. It's big, it's huge. So at the end of the day, what we've got to be prepared for as fans is that maybe some certain decisions that maybe we don't like may happen on certain individual players, whether they're sold for value, whether they're just loaned out again, i.e. Chilwell, i.e. Matson, these type of players loaned out again. Could happen. They're going to have to. And then top of all this, you've got to bear in mind, big up to Eric Blue as well. We want to sell, we want to bring in players as well. There's a lot going on at this football club. There's a lot going on. Big up, Jim. What do you reckon? We're going to get into it, Louis, bro. Big up to you, though. Thank you for coming across as well. Guys, nearly 150 of you here. Big up to every single one of you guys. So there we go. There's the news in and around Ben Chilwell. We're now going to talk about recent news in and around a random player that's just popped out of the blue in the name of Gavi. Now, Chelsea is supposedly launching a bid for Gavi, who is very unsettled at Barcelona currently at the moment. He's 18 years old. He's young. All right, he's fresh. And as you look at the module of Chelsea and where we are at the moment, he's the type of player that these owners are supposedly looking at and thinking, do you know what? We want to bring him across. Now, do I think it's a good idea? No. Because I don't think we need to buy every single young player, young prospect player across the world. Where I would probably have been okay with it is if it was Pedri. If it was Pedri, I probably would have said, get it done. Get it done. I'm not too sold on Gavi as a youngster, even though I think he's still very young. He's still got a lot of football to play. things can happen, don't get me wrong. But we've got to look at where Chelsea are at the moment, what we're trying to do. And we do need a balance. At the moment, we've bought Nkunku and Malo Gusto in, who are, all right, Nkunku's well-known. Malo Gusto, is in terms of his position role. But then you look at the youngsters that we're bringing in, and there's a lot of youngsters. So what are we doing with all these lot of youngsters? And this is why the second club comes in, and this is why I think we're going to buy a second club. And a lot of not as well-known youngsters will go over to these second clubs. They'll play some competitive football. We'll try and bring them up to a level, and then we'll try and see if we can give them the opportunity to go in. Now, I think this is the module that we want to run. People that sit here and say that they know what the module is already is waffling. I'll be honest with you, because it's not true. I don't think any of us do. I think we need to appreciate that these these owners have only been here for 1 year, and a lot's happened. Have they made mistakes? Yes, of course, they have made mistakes. Have they given away their idea of what they're doing? No. Can we kind of work out partially what they're trying to do? Yes, because, the amount of youngsters that we brought in screams out the whole Red Bull project, bringing through players and trying to get them to a point where that when they reach their primes, they're either playing for this football club, they're at a market value, they're playing for this football club, winning things, or if they're not playing at this football club, they hold some sort of market value to then sell them on to other clubs. And that's what I think that these owners are trying to do. I think they're trying to give themselves the options, right? Because we don't know. Let's be 100% serious. I don't think all of these. Youngsters that we're bringing in will be successful and get into this first team. I just think that we will continuously, if we're pushing to battle for the title and get back up there and be that elite club that we always have been, then I don't see how you continuously keep dragging through. You can bring a couple in and they fit the bill and, they sit on the bench and whatever and it click. But not all of them are going to get the opportunity. And so there has to be a plan B with these other youngsters that we got. So if the plan B is send them over to another club that Todd Bowley and Egbali own, to give them competitive football, to bring up their price, whether it's in the French league or the Portuguese league, because they're not too bad in terms of competition, and then sell them for value, brings revenue to this football club. And I think we need to understand that every player we bring in, they're not all going to just break into the team. They're going to have to show something to really go the extra mile to get in this team. Don't get me wrong, it's not hard to get in this team at the moment as it is anyway, because it's not that good. But we're meant to be moving in a way where we're going to be successful, and that's the thing. I don't really know if he's so good. I've not watched tons of him, but from what I have seen of him, I look at a raw talent, very good technically on the ball, but is he what I would say the level of what Pedri is? No. I just don't think where we are now, he's what we need. And it's talks about Joao Felix being bought and, Nkunku's coming in and we want to get a striker and Mudrik's here for 80 million as well. And I just don't see how that all works in my head. I have turned it to a business of buying young players to get them playing more and sell later for profit. Not sure how much that is good for the fans. Well, if you have revenue coming in because you're selling players for 30, 40 million, it not only allows the business, the whole business of Chelsea to expand in terms of growth, but it also allows us to continuously be competitive each and every season, because the FFP are going to make things hard. They're going to make it very hard to the point where we can't, I think in the next couple of years, spend as much as maybe we have done. But at the same time, money's moving and values are moving. And we know that there's inflation in the market. It doesn't matter what player you buy these days, unless they're out of contract, they're always overinflated. And that's why I think that if we've got a couple of youngsters that can't make it in, but are playing really well in the second club that we own in the French league or the Portuguese league, then we'll just sell them. And with that, we will make profit from them. Yeah. and then we'll use that profit to then expand this club even more. If it's then buying the next, I don't know, the next thing we need up front or defence or whatever, or throwing it into the club itself. Good question, because when you look at the Roman regime, it was different in terms of that we didn't always buy loads of young players. What we did with them is we had a loan army, didn't we? So we loaned out a lot of players, but we were also earning a lot from the loans. Now, what Roman didn't do too well, I say Roman, but what Chelsea didn't do too well then was selling the players they had for value. I'm talking about the young players that maybe didn't make it moving forward. Where it's different now is not all of them are going to break in, but if you have a second club that's then earning money on top of all of that as well, that then that player holds value for, then it's a win-win for the owners, because if they can't get back into this team, just because the team is massively competitive at that point, and it's just not going to happen, then you either got two things. You either sell them for value for like 30, 40, 50, 60 million. And I keep saying inflation's key because it will move. But is it much different to what Cav said? Is it much different to what Roma's in? It is a little bit, but just not massively in what we're trying to do. Now, I'm not saying that this is what they're trying to do. I'm just trying to give you an idea of where I think we're going with this. And it's still very early doors to work out what the module is. But the idea, obviously, I believe, is to get as many youngsters in and developed to then be able to compete in the long run for Chelsea. I'm not saying they're just bringing them to sell them. They're going to obviously be given opportunities. But what I'm saying is, if the team itself gets to a level where it's too competitive, they've got this one player there that's worth 40 million, playing really well in the French league, they're going to sell it. If they obviously get a good buyout. So, isn't the Red Bull model a poor man's version of Roman's youth loan program? Not really. Because it's a little bit different now, isn't it? They may be following the Red Bull module. The difference is with what's happening. No, actually, you're right in what you're saying in terms of the Red Bull module and how RB, how they were run. You're right. But it's a different ball game when you've got owners that have money. It's a different ball game when you have owners that have money, right? So, I don't know. Lewis. Mount Havertz, Felix, Chilwell, and Gavi fangirls at my club. I will rope. No, man. Anyway, I've got into like technical owner talk, which we will save because again, I keep telling people it's not clear enough to know what they want to do right now. We can kind of assume what we think they're trying to do, but to actually predict, to actually fully know what the idea is, then I'm not sure. But I think that is the road that they're going to take. They're going to buy a second club. They're going to continue feeding through young players that can compete for the main Chelsea squad. But let's be serious, they're not all going to get in. That's just the truth. At the end of the day, if they can get value on the players that they've bought in because they're playing very well elsewhere, and someone comes in and buys them, then I think they're going to do it. So it is a module, it is a project, there is an idea in what they're trying to do. It's just how well would it go? And that's the big question. That's the big question with it all. Right. One thing I will say about tomorrow's game is that, and we're waiting for Frank Lampard to clarify and confirm, is that I hope and I pray that he is back. I hope and I pray that the El Monstro Thiago Silva is back, because I'll be honest with you guys, I can't watch Koulibaly in the middle anymore. Not at the moment. And it's not because I think he's bad, because he has good games. But I just think that anyone that plays next to this guy just automatically better. Automatically better. And if we're going to have any chance of beating Real Madrid tomorrow and containing Benzema, we are going to need the El Monstro. For me, he's been gone too long, and we just need him. We just need him, man. You got to. Him and Kante, look, in these big games, right? Him and Kante, the two world-class players that we have in the team, they need to both be playing. They have to be on that. I'm sorry, Frank Lampard puts Conor Gallagher on instead of Kante, or puts, I don't know, whatever, and doesn't play Thiago Silva who's on the bench, I will not be happy. So, if we're going to have a go, play your best team. Yeah. And if we lose with these two on the pitch, and you got to bear in mind, when we lost to Real Madrid last time, they're all individual errors. I was at that game at the Bridge when Benzema scored his hat-trick. Every goal that they scored was an individual error. One was from Christensen because he was played as a right centre-back and he wasn't, was it right back or right centre-back, and he got caught by Vinicius on the pace. The other one was obviously Mendy, and I think Kante made a mistake as well. Like they only scored from individual errors. They didn't actually score from open play. It was only when we played them the second leg away, when we got it back, and then obviously they played that ball over to Rodrigo, who banged it in. They can. His name is El Monstro, Thiago Silva, bro. Like, that's who we need. I can't be watching Koulibaly in the centre of that defence if we're going to play. And that's the next. And this is the thing we're going to go to in a bit about the team lineup, because Frank Lampard has to play the back three for me. Has to play the back three for me. I can't be watching us playing the back four against Real Madrid. We need to make sure that Chilwell and Reece James are up the pitch. We need Reece James to be able to deal with Vinicius Jr., which is why I put a picture of them two in the mat as well. And we're going to get into the team lineup soon. Now, we've got one more bit of news, which involves a certain individual. A certain individual who a lot of people are happy for him to stay, which is fine. Others a little bit more skeptical. And I say a little bit more skeptical because people will see him, what are watching and seeing maybe some of the stuff that I said at the beginning. Now, Joao Felix. It is understood that Chelsea want to keep Joao Felix as a part of the long-term project. Club's very happy with his impact. Joao also keen on staying. This depends on the tag asked by Atletico. Talks will take place soon. Now, there's no okay. So there's no denying that he wants to stay, and there's no denying that Chelsea want him, and there's probably no denying that Atletico don't want him. The fact that Atletico Madrid, and I'm not saying it's his fault, have won their last X amount. They've not lost a game since he's left, by the way. Atletico Madrid. I'm not saying it's going anything to do with it, but maybe they're looking at it and going, well, actually, we don't need Joao Felix because look at the way we're playing at the moment. Let's sell him for a bit of profit and buy other players, which is what I think Atletico should do. I think Atletico Madrid will be in a position to sell Joao Felix. The big question with Joao Felix is how much do they want him for? And I have been saying this from the beginning. Yes, it depends on who we sell, who goes out the door, and all this. Yeah, Havertz goes like everyone wishes he goes, and Mount goes like everyone seems to wish that it happens as well. Maybe it will happen. We'll see in the summer. This again has nothing to do with Kai Havertz whatsoever, right? But my worry still stands with Joao Felix. And at the end of the day, since he was first announced, I had the same energy and I continued with the same energy. Do I think he brings a lot of good movement and dribbling ability? Yes. Yes, he does. Is he a different style of player than what we already have in the team? Yes. Because he has the ability to drop deep, pick the ball up, take players on, create space, etc. The issue with Joao Felix is just at the other end of the pitch, and it's his decision making, and it's his in front of goal antiques, because he does the first bit very well. You can't knock him for it, but then it's what he gets at. It's what happens at the end, because he always finds himself on the end of most of our chances, and that's where the problem lies with Joao Felix for me. And 85 million, 90 million, whatever it's going to be. Hopefully it's a lot less. If they say take him for 50 mil, fine. Fine. I'm still not going to be overly excited about the situation, because for me, proof's in the pudding. Now, we want to sell Kai Havertz, fine. Or we want to see Kai Havertz leave because we feel he's been given a long enough time at this club, 3 years, right? And his output's just not there. But he's been playing with Joao Felix, and this is since they've been playing together, because they both get played together, right? And he has more output than Joao Felix at the moment. And this is the player that we want to go. Now, I'm all cool for Kai Havertz leaving, if that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to cry about it. If he goes, like I said, he will go somewhere else where maybe he gets played in a system that works for him, and I think he'll be successful. We'll see, right? But at the end of the day, if we're going to sell Kai Havertz to then bring in Joao Felix, then I need to know that what we're bringing in is better and brings output and brings, the extra additional quality that we need. Does he have the quality with the ball? Yes. But can he be better in front of goal and decision making? Yes. So the differences between the players at the moment and why we should get rid of one that cost us 70 odd million to then go and buy another one that could cost us the same don't really make sense to me. And you can keep using all your excuses you want about bringing in a striker and playing him with a striker, and he'll be even better, which might be the case. And I'll stay quiet if we do sign him, and I'll watch. But just remember, right? And I keep saying this: just remember that if he does not start firing and bringing more than bringing double digits on the table, yeah, and he's playing regularly in this team, he's also going to be criticised for the same issues. And this is my point. You get rid of Kai Havertz because he's not got the output and he doesn't create and he doesn't score enough chances. Then go and bring someone that don't do that anymore. Bring someone in that has that quality to be able to have a bit of a killer instinct, that can do what we had before in a Pedro, a Willian, a Hazard, where they can create, where they can be effective with their own abilities, but also they contribute to what we're doing. Because it's all right buying a striker that's going to score goals, but you also need to have players around him that are also contributing if we're going to be successful. If we're going to be successful at what we're doing. And this is my thing with Joao Felix. And that's the only thing. Because if he bangs in goals and he does create to the levels that everyone seems to think he can do, then fine. I have no issues with it. But from what I'm seeing at the moment, I don't think 80 million merits him. And I've said this from the beginning. My energy don't change. I'm all down for getting rid of players that have no output or don't affect the game well enough. But then bring me players in that don't give us the same issues, or has given us the same issues. Because with Joao Felix, if he doesn't score goals, we're going to have the same thing. And it's like we set ourselves up for punishment all the time. We just like buying players, with no output that play sort of the same roles and are just not as effective as we thought they are. That is my worry. That is my real big worry. That's the only thing, with him. So, it's like we like punishing ourselves all the time. Let's just punish ourselves. Get rid of one and keep another. Like, score more goals, be more effective, show us that you've got the output, play better with better players, like when Nkunku comes in and that. Fine. But it all depends on me on the price tag. And I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with Joao Felix in the summer. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with Joao Felix in the summer. Win stats when Chile and Reece plays win back. Win stats. SS, big up to you. Thanks for the donation, but I don't know what you mean. Win stats when Chile and... Oh, right, when they were wing backs. You're talking about when they were successful. Yeah. I agree. When they're on fire and they're fit, yeah. So play the back three. I think Felix can be effective in the factual team with a manager of good tactics playing with striker, though. Okay, fine. But then just remember that Nkunku's coming in. And if we sign a striker, and in my opinion, Nkunku should be starting, not Felix. But the only worry with Nkunku is the injuries that he's had up to this point. That's the only thing that worries me with Nkunku. It's the injury thing, and I hope that that's not a big thing. But he hasn't played a lot of games because he's suffering with a bit of injury since he had it earlier in this year. So I'm hoping that he comes through with it and we start seeing that killer instinct in front of goal. Who knows? Who knows what we're gonna do, eh? But at the end of the day, guys, we have to improve on. Not Joao Felix. Sorry, Joao. Not Joao. I'm not going to keep going on about Joao, but we have to improve on about this. Because at the end of the day, this is pathetic. Chelsea have scored 29 goals in 29 Premier League games this season, only ever netting fewer at this stage of a league campaign twice before. 23 in 19, 21, 22, and 16 in 19, 23, and 24. That is how bad our output is. That is how bad our output is. And that does involve all of them, but mainly the ones that have played more. Kai Havertz, Joao Felix, Sterling when he's been in, Mudryk when he's played. All of them. Mount earlier on in the season. Now, obviously, he hasn't played for a while. That we just don't have killer cut instinct, and that is a problem for me. That is a problem because the players that play in behind the striker type players that we need to get haven't got. They don't contribute enough, and it's a problem. It's a real big problem for us. It has been a problem for a very long time. Yeah, but sell Mount and Havertz. Yeah, fine. Big up, Hassan. What you saying, mate?
Yeah, big up, German. How you been?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. What you saying?
I mean, we do really need to fix up quite a lot. I don't know what the issue is behind the scenes. Clearly, there must be some sort of problems, or there must be lots of issues, because we've changed the whole 11. We changed the players that could have, like the ones that were toxic, and clearly, I really don't know what to say. Really, I think maybe player power is a big issue at this club. Maybe, and bringing in Lampard and stuff like that. It works both ways for me. I'm not too fussed about his when he arrived. I know you guys probably addressed that in a later video when I wasn't here, but I'm indifferent when Lampard's here. I mean, the season's already done. It's finito. But yeah, a lot of these players really need to fix up. Because I don't know what the excuses are behind the scenes. I don't know a lot, but 29 in 29 games, that's just a joke. Considering when you see other players around other leagues scoring the same amount compared to our players.
We just regressed hard, haven't we? That's the problem. We're regressing so bad. It's ridiculous. Since what? Since Lampard left.
It has to be a deeply rooted issue because let's be honest, we signed cool on paper. A lot of these signings were actually good signings, and for God's sakes, we gave January a 10 when Enzo came in. Like they were all revenge signings and stuff like that, and you don't spend 600 million and regress massively. Like Koulibaly, people would argue and would say that he's world class. All of a sudden struggling and stuff like that. I know it's probably adjustments to the league and stuff, but the other players that have been here before, Cucurella, stuff like that. How all these players regressed so much? It just confuses me and it confuses a lot of the fans. And I do believe that the next manager they have to get right, otherwise we're kind of screwed.
Yeah, it's a big problem, isn't it, Couch? The output levels are just so bad. 29 goals in 29 Premier League games is just not acceptable whatsoever. But we know we have an output problem. We've had an output problem for a while. But, moving forward, obviously we've got Nkunku coming up there. There's talks about getting a striker. I mean, what do we do to improve this output?
Yeah, it's improving the players. This is exactly what Tuchel said in the offseason. Same problem, same players. I know we brought in some new names and whatnot, but we haven't really addressed the core need, which is goals. I happen to think that a lot of the problem with the newer players is just there's just too many players. We haven't given anyone a chance to bet in. We have so many new players, and I think a lot of the problem that we're seeing right now is just the fact that there's just too many people to try and settle into the club. And yeah, I saw the same problem. Whenever you see a team go into the window and bring in 6, 7, 8 players in one window, whatever, they tend to struggle. That's not how you build a team. That's not great for squad building when you have so many new, players in the dressing room. For the most part, you want to see maybe 1 or 2 at the most part. And we go with 8, 9, and it's very hard to have players settle and find their game that way, but it's just where we are right now. I'm not necessarily griping about that. I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow. I think that we still do possess the quality to hurt Real Madrid. I might be alone in that, but I think that if we play our game, which is 3 at the back as far as I'm concerned, and we keep it tight back there, I think we can hurt them on the transition.
I think Thiago Silva's important though. Yeah, this is what I keep saying. I
Absolutely.
think we need to make sure he's fit because I can't watch Koulibaly in the back again. And it's not because it's not just because like I don't really hate Koulibaly in terms of the player and what I've seen. I just think that when Thiago Silva's in the team, everyone's levels just seem to rise in the defence. It just brings that sort of
You want someone that has been settled in, who knows about the big games and stuff like that. You can't have someone that's unsettled at the clubs, unsettled at the tactics and stuff.
You want your world-class players on the pitch.
Yeah,
And for
exactly.
me, the only two world-class players we got is Kante and Silva.
Agreed.
If we're going to have any
I'd
chance,
say Reece James. I'd say Reece
chance
James
of-
is world class.
Nah, a little bit more.
yeah, if we
But it
have
depends
any
on the
chance of beating-
interpretation of world class. We're
If
talking.
we have-
I'd say Reece James is world class. He can get into any team in the world right now.
Yeah, potentially. I agree with that. SS with the donation says, please find Chelsea's win percentage when Chile and Reece are playing win backs in the back three. It's elite. These two guys playing win backs makes us don't lose at all. It does help because we rely on the wings more. And that's why I say when we played the back three, and I know Forward didn't like what we said about the last game. I can't remember who it was, where Ruben Loftus-Cheek was playing on the wing of a back three, and Reece James was asked to play. It was Graham Potter's game that he got sacked on, wasn't it? Who was it? Everton, wasn't it? Oh no, was it someone else? I can't remember. But when you play that system, you always look to the wings, and if you haven't got people that are direct, that have the ability to release the ball quickly, cross the ball quick enough to allow the so-called forward that we have up front to actually try and score a goal, then it's just going to be ineffective. And I think with Ruben, I think he can do a job there, but obviously it's just so much better when Reece James is there, right? And this is where Graham Potter mucked up in that game. I just think he should have played James in his natural position. But playing the back three against Real Madrid, we're going to need to do that. Obviously, Vinicius is going to be effective. He always is. He's going to cause problems. James dealt with him before. I hope we can do the same again tomorrow. And, you'd probably think that Fofana would play there as well. And I think with Fofana and James against Vinicius, you'd think potentially that may be good enough to hopefully deal with it. But Forward, how you doing, mate? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. Can't say the same for our club right now, but I'm doing well, brother, man.
Output, mate. 29 goals in 29 Premier League games. It's absolutely shocking. We know what the issue. I mean, we talk about it quite a lot, what the issues are. But moving forward, a lot of players need to leave. Obviously, we need to bring more in. And Kunku's coming in the summer as well. But talking about the now and Real Madrid tomorrow, what do we do to try and be more effective in front of goal, especially against Real Madrid?
Well, the approach against Madrid is going to be obviously different to the approach against Aston Villa and Wolves. Again, they're a team that's going to want to dominate at home and really take it to us like they did against Liverpool in the first leg of that game and pretty much kill the tie off. So I do think this game suits us more than against a team that is trying to sit in the mid block and force us to play, because we can control possession against teams, but we're just so toothless, and I think it suits our personnel a lot better, playing more in transition and trying to open a team up when they give us the space to attack in.
Exactly.
And that's why, for me, as horrible as it was watching the Wolves game, which, again, Jem, that I've said the season's done for months. But I said to myself, you know what? I will watch the Wolves games even though I didn't want to watch it. I thought I'd watch it because Lampard's in. Let's see what he does different and whatnot. And obviously we saw how that went. It was, in fact, worse. And I think one of our very few strengths this season is that defensively we're okay. Like, again, you look at the rest of the league, I think only City and Newcastle conceded less than us. So defensively we've been okay. And against Wolves, we were just a shambles. So I think the only silver lining from that game is that I feel like it will tell Lampard that, okay, you need to go to a back five. Like, there's no excuse. Just go to a back five. That's what we need to do against Madrid, away from home, and just look to get a result. Even if we lose by, let's just say, 1 goal, which personally, I think we can go out there and get a draw or get a result. But even if we lose by just 1 goal, we're still in the tie. We saw against Dortmund that we were in the tie, and we were able to turn it around at Stamford Bridge. So that certainly suits us compared to when we played them last season. So, yeah, for me, I think go there with a back five. Reece James, Chilwell as our wing backs. Obviously, we're gonna have Fofana at right centre back, which gives me more confidence against Vinicius than we'd had last season with Christensen there in the 1v1 situation. So yeah, and I think if we go there, try and be solid, look to hit them on a counter, we can have joy against them. So I'm quietly optimistic that we'll perform really well. Like, in fact, I'm very confident that we'll perform well. But again, results come down to if you can put the ball in the back of the net, and I can't have any confidence that I'm going to see Havertz, Felix, etc., put the ball in the back of the net. So we'll have to see on that. But for fans that are saying, "Oh, we're going to go there and get pumped," I just don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I think we're going to give a good account of ourselves at the very least.
Yeah, I hear you. And that goes on to my next part of all of this, which is obviously talking about the team lineup and how we're going to set up. I just don't see how we go into this game. I didn't watch the Wolves game. And part of the reason why I didn't do a match reaction is because I watched the first 10 minutes. And not the first 10 minutes, so it must have been like second half, 10 minutes. And I was just like, same old. You know, like there's not much to really go on. And I know it was a bad performance and whatever else. But going into this game against Real Madrid, we have to. I think if Frank Lampard starts with a back four, he's criminal. Absolutely criminal. You know, I know he tried it against Wolves, and we know ideally that Frank Lampard's preferred formation is a back four. But I really do think that if he doesn't do the back, and I think he will, I'm hoping he does anyway. But, you know, I think, you know, if he does anything other than a back three, I think we will be in a bit of a trouble. And it just depends again on who's available. And I think Thiago Silva is going to be a big key point of this as well. No Badiashile, who will not be available, which means I think you probably see Koulibaly go back to the left. And that's where we're going to start. Obviously, I'll put Kepa in goal because we know.
Jem, have we seen Frank play with a back three before? Has he tried that before anywhere?
He done it a lot at Everton this season, and even like the back of last season when they in that relegation battle. So that was like his way of like kind of stopping them leaking goals. But for Chelsea, maybe
he's never done it in Chelsea.
I think maybe one or two games. But at the end, like I remember at the end, I wanted him to go to the back five. Like I feel like that was clear that we needed to do that to stop leaking goals, and he didn't do it, and then he got sacked. And Tuchel done it and won the Champions League. So yeah, but
that's right.
Chelsea, I don't think he's ever really done it.
I think he did it. That's a good shout. The Wolves game 3-5-2. He did play that.
So he's not immune to doing it. He's not overly keen on it. Is what we'd probably say, isn't it? In terms of like, you know, picking his formation. But in terms of the back three, and obviously we're going to find out later today if Thiago Silva is available, which is I think is going to be a massive difference. I think for what we understand,
he can't start, Jem. Like you can't see him starting, right? Like he hasn't played in months.
He'd play, mate. He's just class.
He would. I don't know, man. I think just fitness, man, and just sharpness. He hasn't played in like over a month, like more than that.
We said the same thing about Kante, and he just comes in and he absolutely, you know, when you're class.
But he didn't just come in though. Like we basically gave him like, you know, limited minutes. He played that game against the kids, and then he didn't start from the start. The game, what was it? I can't even remember what it was. Anyways, it's not even about that. Like about his actual. I think he'll be fit enough to play. It's just a match sharpness, right? That's my worry. I don't know if he starts from the.
He's too quality to be worried about how he's going to be on the ball and things like that. I don't see him being that type of player. You know, I don't think it'd be a problem, in my opinion, with Thiago Silva.
I hope you're right.
But I don't know. Let's go with the back. Let's start with the left side of it. Obviously, Badiashile is not available. Koulibaly, Cucurella. There's your two.
Koulibaly.
What are we saying? Flick a coin.
Koulibaly for me.
Koulibaly.
We have to have some aerial presence in that team. That was another reason why I didn't like seeing Cucurella last game. It was just like, what is it that he provides? Like, and it was his error for that goal. Like people say Koulibaly didn't call him out. Like it was a bang bang play. Like he shouldn't. He's not a center back. It's just that simple. If you're playing a back three, play center backs that have played there before. So yeah, for me, it's Koulibaly all day.
What are you saying, Hassan? Cucurella or Koulibaly?
It's two slightly unsettled players, but not gonna lie, I do think we need a bit of presence, as what Coach was saying. It's gonna be Koulibaly for me.
Koulibaly forward.
Like, again, none of them really convinced me. Like in an ideal world, it would be Badiashile, but obviously he's cup side. Again, with Cucurella, like I do see what he offers at left centre back. It's not particularly amazing things, but like again, having a natural left foot there is decent. We know he can play that position well. We've done it at Brighton. He's done it not much for us, admittedly, for sure. I think he's had a very poor season. But he did get man of the match against Dortmund in the second leg from left centre back. So he has had good games there, and like it is possible for him to perform. But just on the basis of recent form, and obviously, again, I do agree that it would be good to have Koulibaly's presence in that back line. I would edge Koulibaly, but again, it's one of those positions that like both guys are out of form. I wouldn't have a fuss either way, depending on who plays, to be honest, because both of them have a lot to prove in a Chelsea shirt for me.
Yeah,
true.
And that's why I said about flicking a coin. But I think the only thing that would edge me more to maybe Koulibaly is just the experience, and that the fact that when he's played next to if Silva, if he is playing, I think you will maybe see more of a better Koulibaly. If he's, I know that sounds weird because he's on the older side as well, and you expect him to be more experienced, more of a leader. But I just think Silva brings the best out of most next to him. So I'd probably say Koulibaly. I mean, Callie, what are you saying?
What up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Big up.
Wait, in reference to left-sided center back,
Yeah,
it's got to be Koulibaly because we're gonna put Thiago Silva in the middle. I put it this way: I wouldn't put Thiago Silva on the left and Koulibaly in the middle, and I don't know if I would start Fofana straight down the middle right now. So then, in that case, then I would take my bet putting Koulibaly on the left. Somebody saying Fofana on the right. That's up to you guys, but just Koulibaly on the left.
could we see? Nah, I'm not even going to say it, but I've seen Potter doing it. It worries me that Lampard might try and be clever with this. Could we see Reece James play? Could we see Reece James playing there just because of Vinicius? Or do you think
no? I mean, it worked. It worked last year at the Bernabeu when he played there. I just don't think Lampard that way.
There you go.
You know?
I don't think Lampard has the tactics to put RJ in center back, and the rest of the team structure is correct. Like I feel like he needs Reece James out on the right, just like I think he needs Chilwell out on the left. But that's a conversation for another day.
Let's be honest. Like Lampard is an attacking manager. He's not thinking the game defensively first. He's thinking about how can we hurt these teams, and maybe to his demise, really. But Reece James is an outlet for us. We can't play him in right center back. Like especially when you have a fit Fofana there, it just doesn't make any sense.
I don't think that Lampard has the structural knowledge to cancel out, let's be honest, one of the greatest managers, arguably of all time, Carlo Ancelotti. I don't think he'll be able to out-tactic him when it comes to putting Reece James in centre-back, and I don't think he has the structural defence of it. But I do see him playing a basic, like what Diesel was saying, RJ left, Reece on the right, Chilwell on the left, and try to outscore him, try to win the game 2-1, try something counter-attacking. Or
I don't get what we're saying about Lampard not tactically acute to being able to set us up defensively, because these players have played in back threes for a long time. So if
no, but I just don't think his mentality is.
He goes, I want you to play a back three. They're going to just slip into it because they've played it.
No, that's not really the issue. It's just what type of manager is Frank Lampard? Is he looking to set up defensively? Does he have any real, structure defensively that we've seen? I haven't seen it. So if you're thinking about who you want to put in the starting lineup, I think it's got to be with some more attacking intent, more so than trying to be defensively sound. That's what I'm saying. Like he can set up in a back three, but I just don't see Reece James playing in that back three.
But I only asked it as a question because I just wasn't sure. We saw it obviously against Vinicius before and it worked. Don't get me wrong, but I do agree if we're playing the back three and we've got Fofana available now, which we didn't have last time round, I think Fofana and James on that side would be, should be.
That should be
he's
more
a good
than
player. It's not like Vinicius Junior is a quality player. He's going to cause you problems. You know what I mean? One way or the other, he's got the speed to completely run down the wings. He's quick. He's quicker than both of them, in my opinion. But what we done well against him last time is that we didn't give him time to breathe. We were always in his face. Every time he got the ball, bang, and that's what we did so well. And that's why we stopped him from being effective. And I think that has to be the key, because they will, when you look at Real Madrid, the midfield's decent and obviously Benzema's a problem, but the way you stop Benzema is cutting the thread to him, in my opinion. And I think they always try and look at Vinicius down that wing, and that's the problem. So cutting Vinicius out would be really key if Chelsea are going to be successful tomorrow for me. But Don, what are you saying?
What's happening, boys? Sorry, I was on a team call, man. I was in a meeting there. What am I saying about what? The lineup? Back three. Definitely a back three. Definitely a back three, man. We have to go back to basics. We need to go back to some solidarity at the back, man. Because that back four at the weekend disrupted the little bit of momentum that we've been building. I know we haven't been scoring, but we should have won the game against Villa. We should have won the game against who was it that we played? Villa and Everton before that. We need to go back to a back five now, I think. so far what you guys have said is what I would go with as well. To be fair, I would go with Koulibaly ahead of Cucurella.
Let me just speed this up, because we know that our wing backs are going to be them two. We have to be. If we're going to get anywhere tomorrow, they're going to be pivotal 100% in what we do tomorrow. So Chilwell and James are our wing backs. But then it goes to the next question about the midfield, because we've seen Kovacic, Kante and Enzo start in the middle. Will we drop it into a 3-5-2? Or do you think this is going to be more of a
3-5-2? I think we have to change the formation to 2 up front, because we're going to have to go over 3-man midfield, because I don't see him. He rested Kante for this game specifically, so he's going to play. Obviously, Enzo Starboy is going to play. And I think he's going to want to bolster the midfield, so it's going to be between Kovacic or Gallagher. Or maybe if Mount's got over his tummy ache, then maybe he jumps into. But I think it's definitely going to be
I think it's going to be a 3-5-2 too. I think it's going to be 3-5-2, and then if we have to chase the game, we could take out one of the midfielders and then go with a more attacking lineup. But you have to be safe, especially away first.
Yeah, the way at the Bernabeu, like any result is a good result. Like we don't get pumped. Like even if we lose 1-0 or by a goal, it's not terrible. So yeah.
Will it be that free though? And will it be, because we've seen Enzo being dropped more of the deeper one at the moment, because obviously being able to play, but Kante will be here.
It's going to be a flat 3. I don't know if it's going to be attacking midfielder.
For me, it's more like a natural three-man midfield. So it'd be like Enzo the deepest. Even though I don't want him to be there, I feel like how he's just the best of the 3 that we have, like being the deepest, picking up from the back 3. And there's going to be Kovacic left midfield, and then Kante on the right. I don't know if this app that you're using has that formation, but like it's going to be like a DM, then 2 centre mid, and Kante being able to bomb him on the right, joining Reece James, and then our right striker, and then Kovacic on the left.
Yeah, but tactically, my thing is, and Lampard did it in the game against Wolves, he had Enzo the furthest back. Regardless if you're lining a 3-man midfield, regardless if you have a left-sided one or right-sided one, you can tactically tell them, hey, you're the one that intercepts, you sit, you cover on the space of the wings. And it's like, I just want Enzo to be the furthest forward. I don't know what formation he wants to use or what tactic he wants to use to make that happen, but I've already seen what it's like with Enzo being the furthest back, and it's not getting us jack diddly squat. So
Kelly, the only way you go around that is if you start Zakaria, because Cover can't play that holding role. Kante, we can't put Kante in that role. So the only option really in that role would be Zakaria. So
I'm not saying on the Bernabeu, but Don, how many times have we talked about putting people in their preferred profiles or positions? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. When you actually I agree with you. But when you look at the personnel right now, unfortunately, Enzo is the most competent in that position. Defensively, he's not the greatest, but in terms of just picking up the ball, having a bit of being a little bit press resistant, he'll be the best option there. When I've seen Cover try to play that deep, when I see Cover play that deeper role, he scares me. He scares me. He wants to grab the ball from literally the 6-yard box and run with it all the time. When we don't need you to do that there, Cover. We need you to pick up the ball, keep the ball ticking. What Jorginho used to do for us, right? We're missing that. So unfortunately, the personnel we have right now, if you want someone to plant and just hold that role, it would be Zakaria. And unfortunately, he's not going to play. So as much as I love Enzo, I would love Enzo to play further forward, because we can all see that he's a creator. He needs to be further forward. With the current personnel, he is the best option to have.
What is Real Madrid's current 3 in middle? Is it Camavinga, Valverde?
Yeah, Camavinga,
Valverde, and Modric.
See, that is going to be a serious battle of midfield. Kovacic,
no doubt.
Enzo, and Kante.
That's where the game's won and lost, my friend. That is
pure. That is pure quality versus quality there. Pure quality.
They could go Valverde on the right, and then put Cruz in the middle. They could do that if they don't start Rodrigo, because Valverde does go on the right as well.
Yeah, I just thought of something. Do you know what the issue is right now? And I was thinking about the midfield versus midfield battle. We have lost our ability to press. Has anyone noticed that in this whole year? We just stopped.
I mean, we haven't had Conte the entire year. That's basically it. Conte's the one that springs the ball winning. Like, we don't have any ball winners on the pitch when Conte's not in the game.
Yes,
100%.
Essentially what it is.
I agree with that.
People are saying Valverde's got a ban or something. Is anyone?
I don't know about any ban, but just to correct something that I've been seeing. I don't know about any Valverde ban, but from what I've seen because I got some really close Real Madrid friends which have made it quite interesting the last couple of seasons that we played them. But from what they've been telling me, and from the Classico that I watched last week, their midfield has been Cruz, Modric, and Valverde. Camavinga's been playing as an auxiliary left back. sometimes he'll drop into the midfield and do the whole inverted midfield thing, but mainly he's playing as their left back with I think Mendy has not been in the greatest of form. Obviously, Nat played there a little bit as well, but it's Camavinga left back. And then the front three is going to be Vinicius, Benzema, Rodrigo, which was the same three that started at Anfield. So,
Oh, you think they're going to continue?
Quite attacking.
You think they're going to continue with Camavinga at left back? Because I didn't think. I thought they were going to change that for us. I really thought they were going to make that alteration.
I mean, the alternative would be Nacho there, but I just don't really see that. Camavinga's done well at left back recently.
I've checked before the three.
But just to add this point as well, Nacho came back on the weekend against Villarreal, and Chukwueze, like, he roasted him multiple times for both goals that he scored. So I feel like that's automatically he's gonna be dropped for Camavinga again. So I think it'll be Camavinga left back, and then Modric, Cruz, Valverde. Obviously, that backline: Alaba, Militao, Carvajal, obviously Courtois in goal, and then
Rudiger. Rudiger.
Nah, not Rudiger. Rudiger's not been that great for them, to be honest. I love Rudiger, but
he will start against us.
Alaba and Militao will be the one.
Oh, he'll definitely be.
Come on, Jem. Listen, how many ex-Chelsea? We got the record of the most ex-players doing a brace or having a masterclass past us run. 29, I think the record is. Rudiger will be number 30, man. Got a feeling.
Militao's been faster than Alaba's the leader at the back, so they're not going to bring a Rudiger for this.
Yeah, Militao's been good this season. He's been solid. But I've just checked their last two lineups. The last game that Camavinga played left back was the 6-0.
Valverde, yeah.
One's left. Anyway, quickly, Super Chat says, Sean says, I saw Mendy might be injured and Valverde might not play because of what happened with the Villarreal player. He punches what Sean said.
Oh, yeah. But no, but he could be suspended domestically, though. That won't affect Europe.
Yeah.
Yo, let me just jump in here. I hear what Don's saying about Enzo, being the only real competent player, receiving the ball off the defenders. But I still think if we want to score a goal, we need somebody like Enzo a little bit closer to the front too, because Kovacic is not giving us anything in the final third.
I agree. Yeah.
Conte, you know what Conte is there for. Conte is actually could be a surprise scorer, to be honest, because these are the type of games that he'll score in. But I think Lampard got to find a way to get Enzo closer to the attack.
How do you do that? How do you we don't have anyone that can receive the ball from the defenders.
Well, I think Kova could receive the ball. I think
Nah. Not as good as Enzo.
Bro, okay, not as good as Enzo. That's a different statement than
Dude,
Kovacic.
You want to go to the Santiago Bernabeu.
At the end of the day, Kovacic and Conte have played in the pivot before. I know it's not the best pivot, but they've played in a successful pivot before.
Not against a midfield that's going to be pressing relentlessly. You heard Alaba said in the pre-match today.
Actually,
they're going to be pressing. They're going to be pressing us for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Our press is dead.
Receiving the ball from the defenders.
We got to have the ball to get pressed.
Well, you don't think we're gonna have the ball? Like, what are you talking about here?
I don't think we're gonna have the ball as much. No, I don't.
Okay, so what's the point of having Enzo up there then if we don't have the ball?
Bro, because Conte and Kova will cover the spaces and Enzo.
No, but Couch is right. Then at that point, you need to start organizing counter-attacking prime Jose ball. Like, if you're not going to have the ball, there's no point of Enzo being furthest forward.
If you're going to play countering, football, we need to get. All right, guys. If we're going to play countering football, then we need to make sure Sterling's on the pitch. That's all I'm going to say.
AJ, my main thing that I'm skeptical about when it comes to picking either Kova or Enzo in that holding role, right, is the fact that these are fine margins against a team against Real Madrid. Because Benzema, if he gets a chance, if Kova loses the ball in that position, right, he's gonna score. He's gonna bury that. So I would rather take the safer option, just to hopefully see out a lead, right? See out something from the Bernabeu, take them back to the bridge, and then maybe we'll discuss about who should start where depending on what the result is. But to start off with, right now, the best option, unfortunately, is Enzo in that position. As much as I want him further forward,
throughout the game, though, I'm gonna need Enzo to be further forward. He doesn't have to be there the whole game. You understand?
But honestly, I don't think Enzo in the final third is that I mean, it'll be great if you have him there, but again, AJ, you recognize this isn't going to be a game that we have a lot of the ball, and especially not like loads of it in Real Madrid's third of the pitch, like trying to like pinning them back basically, innit? Like, for me, Enzo can still affect the game from deeper, and he can actually be
Exactly.
somebody that helps us create from deeper. Because let's not forget, we're playing with
Exactly.
wing backs, so Chilwell and Reece James are going to be high up, and Enzo's like switch ball out, especially to
Spray the
Chilwell.
ball.
It's
Spray the ball. You're
marvelous,
killing
bro.
it
Like,
forward. That's
it's
exactly what I was
immaculate.
going to say.
And that's going to be on every single time. And that's why I don't want Kovacic deep is
Yeah.
the time and space to play that
But
ball.
remember, the
Kovacic
game
can't play
is
that.
fluid,
Kante
though.
isn't going to be a great at playing that. So it has to be Enzo that's doing that job.
100%. I agree with the long range, short range part. We already know what Enzo possesses as a player, and we know that we're not getting the best out of him at the moment. But the reason we're not getting the best out of the moment is because we we haven't got the individual in the team that can allow Enzo to go forward and play. And I think if we had a sitter, Kovacic wouldn't be playing right now, in my opinion. I think it would be Kante.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't play
whoever
three
else.
at the back. That's what we wouldn't do.
You know, that's my opinion. But
Not
what
fact.
are you saying?
What am I saying? Why are you playing three at the back?
Super, Frank, super.
Can I ask you, is it not criminal to not do that, or do you think it's
It'd
because we
be
don't have a
fine,
DM.
but it'd be fine. But have you forgotten who's picking the team?
well, yeah? I mean, we've seen.
What do you want to see?
No. It's not what I want three at the back, but we are forgetting who's picking the team, right?
Yeah, I
He
agree.
very
And that's
rarely
what
plays three at the back.
Well,
He's
we
playing
can do a
four at the
four.
back. He's going to play. This is it. He's going to replace Kante with Gallagher and Chilwell Cucurella, and he's going to go with the same players. That's what he's going to go with.
I disagree, to be honest. I mean, listen, I think we all want
Okay.
to at the back, but I feel like Lampard, as his managerial style, was to listen to the players and he talks to them a lot. And like, let's say if Silva is 100% fit, Kante's fit, the experienced guys, they're gonna want three at the back. Like even Aspilicueta is gonna be around. He's gonna say, you know what?
I
For this game, three at the back makes sense. So I don't see Lampard.
I think you're
changing that
forgetting.
top
I
four
think
at
you're
the
forgetting who
Bernabeu.
you're talking about. This guy's ego is bigger than any players coming to him. He will play what he wants to play. He'll play four at the back. He did it. Well, it's proven. He's managed us, and look what he did at Everton. It's
We'll
proven.
do a back four.
You can disagree all you want. We've got
Yeah.
actual months of him managing us, doing what he wants to do.
I know what he's saying.
So-
I agree on that. I agree on that
Guys,
side. He prefers the back four.
back
but like,
four,
Lampard said that
toe to
Lampard
toe
won't
with
listen to the
Madrid.
players. Like Lampard's
Oh,
managerial
yeah.
style, even at Everton, he listens. Like he has the players speak out a lot. And on this kind of game, like he's gonna ask the players what they think and what they want. I'm sure most of them are gonna say a back three makes sense. Now Lampard might overrule that, cool, but to just say that his ego will say, oh, he wants a back four no matter what any player says. But I disagree with that element of it.
We'll
I
see.
only say this.
So why did he play back four against Wolves? We're playing back three for the previous.
Because Wolves
like,
are a
seven
lesser
games.
team that
Because
we could
Wolves
dominate
is
and fix our
Wolves.
main issue, which is goal scoring, and it backfired because we didn't score and we got pammed defensively. So because of that, I thought that's
So he's
even more
obviously-
reason to go to a back three against Roma.
There's a big
Benzema,
difference
Vinicius,
between Wolves.
Rodrigo, Valverde,
Thank you.
Modric. Like,
Thank you.
we can't play a back like.
There
I
is,
mean, let's say, if Lampard
there
is
is
dumb enough
no
to play a back
difference
four, then
between-
fair enough in it. But I just don't think
there is
any
no-
manager with common sense would think back four at Bernabeu makes a lot of sense.
Surfer, I'll give you $100 if we
There's-
go back four and don't lose at the Bernabeu and lose by more than two.
There's Chelsea team. There's no difference between Wolves and Real Madrid. There's no difference with this Chelsea team. Okay, there's no difference.
No, how
okay?
can you say that? Like, okay, let me just say quickly, right? How can you say that when you've seen in recent games, when we play a team like Liverpool who come out against us, it's a different performance that you've seen from Chelsea compared to Aston Villa and Wolves. You sat back and just countered us.
Yep.
Like you can
I'm
see
with
our
you. I'm
performance
in
was
agreement.
different
Like,
against better teams.
as much
And
as we
that's-
haven't been in great
Against-
form, as much as we haven't been in great form, when you look at our European ties, where teams actually come at us and whatnot, we've been actually really good. You know, so I'm not necessarily saying that we're going to go to the Bernabeu and like turn them over, but I don't think that we should be going into this game think that we don't have a chance.
Okay, I will counter that with Frank Lampard has the last time we got beat Bayern Munich, we got absolutely
7-2.
7-1 on aggregate. Okay,
The players that go on the
Nah, it should have been two. They disallowed a goal. They disallowed a goal. Should have been two.
I really want everyone to deep this, right? You are undermining the negative impact this guy will have on this team, and I don't giving him such a a wide berth. You know what I mean? This guy is a terrible coach. Okay, he's a terrible coach, and he's not going to galvanize this squad. We saw it on Saturday. Okay, he is terrible. To think that we have a chance with Real Madrid with Frank Lampard in charge is a joke, an absolute joke.
I think we're gonna get battered regardless. Wait, so
I guess you're not watching
We're
it.
gonna get
man.
battered
You're just gonna
regardless.
turn it off. Why even bother watching then, Andrew? You might as well just like go to the bar, have a few drinks,
Because
chill.
well, no.
Like, why are you going to torture yourself, man? You've come into this. Basically, what you're saying is, he's a joke. This team is a joke. We have no chance to win. So what are you watching it for?
We don't. Because I've been told we're on vibes, right? We're on vibes and the games don't matter. So I'm going to watch it like
Andrew's betting against us. That's why he's done, man.
That's what I don't bet.
Whoa, Jeff, did you just
I did tell you that, and I'm still standing by that. None of this matters. None of this matters.
Exactly. Why does it matter? I'm going to matter because I've been told that, and I'm going to be on vibes. So, let's do this. Let's go.
If there's one thing that you guys can't undermine in the Champions League, and it is the performances of the guy Kai Havertz, like he did against Dortmund at home. Yeah, because these are the games where Club Havertz turns up and wins us games. So he will be starting. If we could have two of them over Felix, we would have two of them. Because two Havertzes brings us a little bit more output than it does Joao Felix.
Champions League
Champions League Pulisic turns up and scores again at the Bernabeu. There we go.
Hey, Kai Havertz is going to score, man. Watch.
Two Havertzes is what we need. That's what we need.
He will score. He will score, and the timeline will go mental, saying keep him for another year.
Get Havertz off the screen. Don't forget the Dortmund home game when he was the best player on the pitch and pissed it. Yeah,
he always plays good in March, but that's about it. You don't play good in any other month other than March every single year.
Exactly, he turns up for Champions League.
This is his chance to stop on 2 goals.
He loves it.
It's March.
I would actually play Sterling. To be honest,
I think Sterling has to start. I think that's the one he has to
in
start.
my opinion.
He's been so terrible.
Bad against Wolves,
I'm just gonna be real. He's been awful. Like, he looks so timid on the ball. He's like, whenever he's taking touches, it looks like he's never played football. But he's been awful. I would rather see him come off the bench to see if he can change the game with running at tired legs. But I don't think that he needs to start this game, to be honest. He's just not been good enough.
I hear it. I hear performance-wise, I hear it, but I just think stylistically, Couch, that like you want to have somebody who has a bit more legs up front to run in behind and stretch their back line because they've not. Okay,
I mean,
Militao's rapid.
What's the point of having him running in behind if he turns over the ball every time he gets it? Like, I would rather see him running at tired legs, where he doesn't have to like worry about like the composure of the defenders, like, stymieing him time and time again. Like, he's just not been good, guys. I much as I love Sterling. There's reasons for me to want him. Believe me.
No, but he also is one of the only players in our team that can probably put the ball in the back of the net. Let's not also forget that, because
that's something I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is why I think that he comes on late, because I don't think that we're going to be in a position early to just be the boss in the game. Like,
but we want to see Havertz and Felix in the fucking stands missing all our chances and we lose 2-0 or something. I'd rather have someone on the pitch that can maybe take one when it lands.
Yeah, but he's not. So much of what he does just destabilizes what we're trying to do. He's just not been good enough, man. And
he was good before the injury. He was good before the injury.
I don't know, man.
He was all right. He was one of our better attackers, I would say, before the injury. Then, since his comeback, he's just been a bit off of it. But like Jem said, as much as Sterling isn't a clinical striker, he's actually someone that's been able to finish his chances at times. So
I just don't think that. And to be honest, in a game like this, I think that that's what they're going to go with, just because at least those guys have a familiarity of playing with each other. It's not been great, but you don't go into the Bernabeu and play an unfamiliar lineup. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would you play a bunch of guys that have never played before at the Bernabeu?
I just think look, this is what I think Real Madrid are going to do. I think they're going to press us. We're going to have to break the press.
Of course they are.
Right? If we play the back three and we manage to find the balls into the middle with Enzo and Kante breaking forward or whatever, I would rather see players like Sterling, who, let's be serious, because Real Madrid will play a high line, in my opinion. They will press, running in behind in the space between Courtois and the defence. And I don't see Felix doing that, really. I don't really see Havertz, even though he does do it, doing it effectively enough. And I just think Sterling, with that speed in behind, if we judge it right, could hurt him. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we're going to play 3-5-2 specifically, I think you need to have countering players on the pitch. If we're playing a 3-4-3, it's a different story for me in terms of how it's out.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Felix to me is the key to any counter that we want to play. He's the guy that links the transition for me. Like, all the time we're looking for Felix in transition. So he's important in terms of that link play. But you're right. I still think that we need somebody up top that can, just get into those areas for us and finish. And I feel like it's either going to be a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. 3-4-3 if we're looking to hurt them. 3-5-2 if we're playing it safe.
If it is a 3-4-3, what happens then? Because who plays up front? Will it be Felix up front? Sterling? How would it be? Or would it be Sterling? Or will we do what we did against Dortmund, where we played Sterling as like the main guy up front, and then we just left Havertz and Felix? Well. Do you think we could do something like that?
Yeah.
I think it could work. I think we should just.
I think it leaves us just a bit too open in midfield, though. Against Madrid's free.
I mean, depending on what Conte you get, though, right? Depending on what Conte you get. I mean, for me,
isn't it really?
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. This is too open. We need in there. We need that third player.
Way too open.
I mean,
even when we done this in the past against Madrid, we had Mount on the wing.
He's basically like a midfielder. Offers a lot defensively, anyways. He's just another body in the midfield, but he's not really defensively sound.
We need a body, though. That's exactly what we need.
Depending on what Conte you get, you probably get two Contes in that area.
Conte can cover for a whole man. Don't worry about that.
In a 3-man midfield, though. But just for me to say, like in a 3-man midfield.
Conte was playing in that midfield and bossed it.
And don't forget, tactically, Tuchel had Ruben Loftus-Cheek moving absolutely mad, and then he tucked in a listen, Lampard's not going to do that. Okay, Lampard's not going to get away with that.
I mean, that would work, Jim. That would work. Not from the right side though.
3-4-3, dropping in, all right, a 3-5-2 with Mount in the team, and then do that.
Bro, I just want to score. I want to try and actually score too.
Wait a minute, where's Gallagher?
Yeah, where is Gallagher? Hold on, time out. That's the extra body. Gallagher's the extra body. What's wrong with us, guys? Come on.
That's literally
it's going to be between Gallagher.
No, it's not even what I think. That's what he's gonna do. Gallagher is the extra man.
Sell him. But enough.
You can't have Kova, Conte, and Fernandez and choose Gallagher.
No, Gallagher's in there for Kovacic.
I don't want to.
Yeah, Jesus, can you imagine? Or Mount, should we say? Mount don't play no more, so I think Gallagher's over Mount these days. So
yeah, don't add Mount to any lineups. This guy hasn't played God knows how long.
There you go, Connor. Go on, Connor.
I would rather Mount be the sub than Gallagher.
No, that's right, Jim. Connor for this up. Connor for this up. Connor for this up.
It's gonna be Conte for Gallagher as a sub.
So
he's gonna tell him to get him.
Let me ask you guys this, because I didn't watch the Wolves game. I chose not to, and it was probably a good thing because we lost anyway. But what did he set up as? Was it a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3? Because I didn't see it. So what did he do?
It was a hybrid, but like it was 4-3-3, but Gallagher was in that midfield, so he's not necessarily a.
It was an abomination. That's what it was.
I'm gonna put it to you this way: it started off a 4-3-3. Gallagher turned it to a 4-2-3-1, and then somewhere in the middle of the game, the half circle came out, Jem, where we just had a bunch.
No, I'm glad I didn't watch it. No, I'm not watching that.
We're in the trenches, people. My Chelsea faithful, my brother and my sisters, we are in the trenches.
Did we do what he did last time when he played a 4-1-5? Because he likes leaving one midfielder on his own, doesn't he? And then he plays 5 up front.
It's like tactically the formation turns into that, Jim. And I don't know why.
Gallagher up front? Fuck it. Come on, Gallagher, yeah. Tell me, what we're doing with a 4-3-3 then, please, anyone? Because I don't know, I have a clue what we'd do in this situation. Is it going to be Kovacic there? And then what? Who plays? Who did he play up front? Havertz, Felix, and who?
Sterling.
Sterling. Did he play Sterling? Really? All right, there you go.
ZX. Put ZX.
Oh, no. Winter Surfer's loving this, isn't he? Look, he's loving it.
No, he's the definition of I want vibes.
He says ZX.
Right.
A lot of people trust Mudryk in this game. I'm seeing it in the chat. Like a lot of people would say, "Bun your man Havertz, put Felix there, and put Mudryk."
Do you think Zakaria touches the field? That's what I want to know.
No. He should, but he won't. It's too late now. He should, but he won't.
Gallagher is more likely to touch it than him.
What?
More likely, Gallagher will touch the pitch at the Bernabeu. He'll cry his eyes out. He'll say, "What an amazing experience."
Zakaria even makes the bench. Put it that way.
If he plays this formation tomorrow, we're losing.
You're not trying to win, then.
I'm telling you now.
With Zakaria, you're worried about Zakaria for winning?
Did you hear me? If we play this,
you forgetting how the game plays out. Like you like
guys,
the game ideally, but you don't remember how the game actually plays out.
I don't remember how the game plays out. I remember that Zakaria is not the guy. That's what I remember. He's not the difference between wins and losses for Chelsea. That's for sure.
Guys, what I would say is that if we play this formation tomorrow, if we play this against, I'm getting there now. Jesus, fire now. If we play this formation against Real Madrid tomorrow, we are getting pammed. I'm telling you now, 3-4.
Pammed.
We're getting
that midfield where they're getting bopped. They're getting popped about. They're showing off some proper paella football. You know, I'm telling you.
No, because I'll tell you why specifically, tactically, why it will not work. Because Kante, even though as great as he is getting around the pitch, will be lured to coming out on the wing to help James with Vinicius, which will then leave Enzo on his own in the middle with two players to deal with Ben. And remember this as well. Benzema, when he plays up front, isn't the type of striker to run in behind. He's the one that drops deep in between the two and links the play. And then he adds an extra body along with the midfield to then kind of, what's it called? To basically to overload. Sorry, yeah, that's the word. Thank you for it. So overload us in midfield, which means, all right, our defense haven't got anyone to mark. But once you beat the midfield, which is, which then is not that hard because Kante's been dragged out there and Enzo's trying to drop in deep with here. But then Modric comes here and Kovacic comes along here. And then someone else comes down the way. We're basically just going to get overloaded completely. And then that's when that's when the pressure comes on these two in the middle and the right backs and the left backs. And we'll just be overloaded. And it'll be an absolute mess because we'll be outnumbered. You know what's funny though, Jem? You know what's funny? This is a game that would work for Mason Mount. Even if you played the 4-3-3, this would be a game that you would like to see him on the left.
Oh, Mount should be in. Mount should definitely be in.
Yeah, at least he would come back and be that extra body, right? But yeah, he hasn't been playing. That's the thing, though. He hasn't been playing. And Havertz, he can't do that job. If he was to play off the right, he can't. We've seen it how many times now. He can't come back the way Mount does. Mount is probably the best at doing it. Connor seems to be doing it, but he at the same time, he's just running around doing nothing, really. So it has to be a 5-3-2, man, in my opinion. Like, if we play a back four like this, we're going to get bopped.
It'll be criminal if he plays this. Criminal.
If he plays a back four...
The thing that I said, right, because I was on the terrace the other day, and the first thing that I said is, I know Frank Lampard's been focusing on Everton because obviously he was the manager there and he got sacked, but surely he would have been keeping an eye on our games and watching how we've been setting up pretty much all season. So it was weird to me that he would even try a back four because we've been shit in a back four all season, and it goes back to the point that Couch made in terms of how many players have come in. We haven't been stable off the pitch, so let alone on the pitch. So I don't know, man. I'm skeptical if he's even going to go to a back five because this man's scary me. Frank Lampard's a scary manager. I'm telling you.
We're just not used to him. Like, and we know that our preferred tactic right now is going to be 3 at the back, and we don't know if Frank has that in his locker. Really, that's really what it is.
But it's like if
you can't go into the Bernabeu and play a back four, like where we've been so uncomfortable all year. It just does not make any sense to me. And I really think that Frank is a smart enough guy that he can recognize that. He'll have seen our games, understand. I think so.
You know what, Couch. I'll give him benefit of the doubt because first game he thought, okay, let me try to implement something different. Let me try to bring a bit of a lift.
That's what we're hoping.
Let's try to bring a little bit of an attacking impetus, and let's see if we can score more goals. But that backfired. So let's give him benefit of the doubt. First game, he's brushed off that rust. So hopefully, Frank, if you're listening, mate, go back to a back five, please.
I mean,
we can't go there until
what it means to be in a European Cup tie. Like, he's been in them before. He knows that you have to soak up the pressure at home, away from home, and get yourself a chance to win it at home. So I don't see how he's going to play so open, and then just lose the time. He did it against.
This is the scary thing though. In our group stage games before he got sacked, he played that 4-3-3. That's why I ain't no telling. There's really no telling. There really isn't.
Against Bayern, yeah.
Give Ruben the lone role. Let him drive forward with the ball, and commit players. What do you reckon?
This is the thing about Ruben, that we've never actually really seen him play his best position, which is as a number 8, and playing in a 3-man midfield, it would suit him. But again, I think Kovacic will start. tomorrow, and I think I don't mind it, to be honest, in the 3. But Ruben in that 8 role, he's somebody who will offer us driving up the pitch and being able to find a pass, which is something that Kovacic consistently can't do.
But neither
I
does
came
Ruben.
to the stream for reassurance that we weren't getting slapped up 3-0 tomorrow. None of you have given it. Not one of you.
We're not
have
getting slapped up
reassured
3-0
me
tomorrow.
we're
If we
getting
play a back
slapped
3,
up.
we're not getting slapped up 3-0.
We're not getting slaps. It's the
Definitely
problem.
not
The
getting
problem is just scoring, Cali. That's what.
No,
That's
no,
what.
no. But that's what I'm saying. That's the thing I'm saying. None of you are telling me confidently this man's gonna have common sense and set up with a back 3 or back 5. You're telling me he might go out with a back 4. So if he goes out with a back 4 and Gallagher in the midfield, we're gonna get slapped.
What do you think he's gonna do, though, Callie? What do you think he's gonna do?
Genuinely, I don't know. That is why I am afraid. I am afraid, my friend. I thought, from a relatively smart standpoint, one that doesn't require any coaching badges, he would go and set up with a back 3. You know, if he wants a little bit more attacking. Instead of having, your fullback sit further back, you can invert them, have them go forward, be in the midfield. Fine, I'll accept that. But you guys are telling me, and I'm looking at his track record with us, not even in other teams, with us in the Champions League, and he ran that 4-3-3 almost every game. So I'm sitting here thinking, surely Super Frankie Lampard is not going to go to the Bernabeu and say, I'm him, and set up with a back 4 and go beyond that and put Gallagher in midfield. Surely that's not what I'm going to wake up to tomorrow.
Those are different circumstances. Though. Like, you have to recognize that we were a different team 2 years ago when he was manager. And in the first leg against Bayern Munich, you have to realize we were at home. So in his mind, again, Lampard's an attacking manager. He wants to go out there for the win. These are different circumstances.
Yeah.
We are on our knees as a team. Confidence-wise, we're on the floor. So it makes sense to just sit back, play on the counter, which you've seen in recent weeks. Lampard would have been studying us in recent weeks. We've been better in the back 3. You saw Wolves as an opportunity to get some confidence in us and get goals by going attacking, and obviously it backfired. Having been embarrassed there in your first game, you don't want to then go and get embarrassed at the Bernabeu. So logic would suggest that you want to go defensive. So if he defies that and goes 4-3 again and gets slapped even more, then wow, he's even worse than I think he is. But I just don't see him doing that, to be honest.
It's gonna be so funny, I was going to say it's going to be so funny. He's going to talk about how he played against Bayern Munich for their lives, how he played against Barcelona for his lives, his past experiences as a player and knowledge. Without even a coaching badge, should know that he should go as a back 3. But I genuinely see him go back 4 tomorrow. He'll talk about.
See what I mean? No one's giving me confidence. He's gonna set up correctly and give us the best chance.
Guys, I've explained the logic why he should go to a back 3 and why I believe he will go to a back 3. Explain the logic why he would stay at a back 4. You think he's gonna actually go over back 4?
Sir, there's no logic. That's why I want it from you. I'm asking for reassurance. I've seen Frank Lampard with no logic. Why did you set up as a back 4 yesterday?
I know, and I've explained why he's gonna go to a back 3. Why I believe. Well, I'm like 90% sure he'll go to a back 3. But for those saying he's gonna go back 4, please explain why.
Okay, so this would be it, right? He doesn't learn from his mistakes. Okay, he will do something until it either starts working again or he gets sacked. And he proved it at Chelsea and at Everton. So until it stops, until it starts going again. He doesn't know how to change things. He rarely does. On occasion at Everton, he did for a few games, but then he went back to his usual.
What did he go back to at Everton?
I think he went a couple of games. He experimented.
He went back 3 at Everton for a very long time. Like for most of the season, like last season to like when they were like in a relegation battle, he went to a back 3 to save them. For most of the start of this season, he went to a back 3 as well. Like. So he did change things at Everton, and again, coming here again where he's been embarrassed.
But he doesn't change. He doesn't.
I can see him wanting to change it.
Doesn't that then show then that he doesn't have the self-awareness of us playing in a back 3 for nearly 2 years, which we've been better as, and he comes in and arrogantly thinks that he can play a back 4 with this team at this moment in time? That would say to me, they would say to me he's learned if he does change it. If he goes to the back 4 at the Bernabeu tomorrow and doesn't change it even in game, that would show to me that he just thinks he knows better, and that's fine for him to do so. He knows the position, but I think for you, I think everyone here to actually look at what Lampard's done at Chelsea and Everton and give him the benefit of the doubt is ridiculous. We're only doing it for this.
Yeah, but Andrew, yeah, but this is different circumstances.
Hang on. Let me just finish. And it's one sentence. We're only doing it because it's Frank Lampard. That's the only reason we're giving him benefit of the doubt. If it was a Rafa Benitez that came in,
Not really.
you wouldn't be doing it.
Not
Oh,
for me.
come on.
Not for me, mate. I'll be honest with you. I'm at a point now where I've looked at our season and gone, well, it's a turmoil anyway. It's completely done, in my opinion.
Okay, maybe not here, but maybe not here with some people. But I think most of the fan base would go,
Well, we
it's
know
Lampard.
who
He gets the club.
long term and stuff. We know people.
Nah,
Yeah,
Surfer's
he
right
knows
though.
the
I had
club.
somebody tell me that Lampard was going to win the Champions League, so
Well, I didn't say I did it. Who knows?
Oh, man.
Notice I didn't laugh. I was dead serious. That's the crazy part.
Third fine, Lamp played a back 4 when we lost 4-1. He played a back 3 when we lost 3-0. So basically, we're scuffed, is what you're saying. Like,
Basically, Lampard's fucking shit. Anyway, you lot want him. Lampard's basically fucking shit.
Well,
He wants to win tomorrow.
Just answer this point, right? Because I wasn't here for your
Nobody
point.
asked Lampard.
Wait, Jem.
Nah, let Matt man the minerals. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
We didn't even know Lampard was an artist.
Wait, hold on. Matt, what do you mean you lot wanted Frank? Who wanted Frank?
No one is Frank. What are you talking about?
You want to accept
Yeah,
mediocrity.
don't say we wanted Frank. We had this conversation, brother.
Wait, hold on, guys. Hold on. Matt, who said they wanted Frank?
When you lot come in and back this guy and want him, he's only for 9 games. We'll take him as a caretaker manager. Then when I was coming out here and I was saying last week, I would not want nothing to do with Frank. I don't want Frank in anyone in this club. You guys will accept him. Anyway, but tomorrow he ain't doing anything tomorrow. The only way he's going to win tomorrow, if he gives me Enzo, Zakaria, Kante midfield, there's a chance we can get a draw. There's a chance we get a draw.
Assuming he tactically sets that midfield up correctly, is not just putting players in places.
Mate, because there's a lot of like impetus on the manager to get the things right tactically for sure. And I think we're going to go over back. He's going to tell them most of the right things to say. Obviously, he's not going to be Tuchel tactically. We know that, but he's talking about the manager a lot. Like it's at the end of the day, football is played by 11 men on the pitch, and they still need to go out there and perform. And again, Lampard can't control unforced errors at the back. He can't control if Havertz has his shooting boots on for once. He can't control those things. He can control how we set up tactically, but ultimately, still up to the players to execute on not just Lampard's tactics, but tactics from
what tactics do we
how
play with
they know the game. But forget tactics though. It's still on the players to actually go and perform. So I'm just saying, for the players that are on the pitch tomorrow, is Havertz going to turn up and perform? Is Kante going to turn up and perform? Which players are going to actually go on and perform for the badge for the team in a big game like this?
But who starts them? Who starts them?
Well, we talked about the starting lineup, and I feel like it's again.
But
maybe Covington, Gallagher, maybe
he has the players.
Sterling. It's going to be the players that.
But here's the thing: he has the players to win it. At the end of the day, but he has the players to win it. He's just not signing the right ones.
Matt, what players do you want to see on the field, bro? Let's get.
I need to see Zakaria, Enzo, and Kante need to start. You got to have a strong midfield. Kante, Zakaria sit back.
Zakaria played 2 games, and you're talking about Zakaria, like
yes, Dennis, because Dennis he's done more defensively than coaches has done all season. He hasn't played 2 games. He's played about 6. He's played 6 games, and he's played very good in all those games. And I would definitely start him because it allows Enzo. It allows Enzo to push up. I don't want Enzo to be playing DM. I want Enzo to play more up. So you can't play Kovac as a DM because the guy shares a DM. You can't play him there. Zakaria, you can.
We can't throw Zakaria into a game like this when he's hardly had any minutes.
Yeah, that's not. It's like throwing Mountain there.
Burn about like that's
what it is, Matt. We all know.
No, don't we can, mate. Don't we can.
We all know, that Frank Lampard is a meaty manager. He's not a good manager, right? But what you're doing is you're kind of preparing for it to go wrong and say, see, I would have played Zakaria, but he was never going to play anyway.
Exactly.
He was never going to play anyway. So
and even if he played Zakaria, I don't think it would have changed shit.
What do you want for that? Yes, it would change shit because you can't play. I would rather just try something new because, hang on, everyone's sitting here saying we're going to lose. So I'm like, okay, let's try something different because we've tried the same thing. You start Gallagher. Hang on. You start Gallagher. You start Loftus-Cheek. You start Gallagher. You start Loftus-Cheek in that midfield. I can guarantee you.
Matt, so
every fucking time they start this shit, they're not good enough to start this team.
When we lost to Villa, and when we drew,
don't score.
Yeah, when we lost to Villa and when we drew to Liverpool, did we draw and lose that game because Zakaria didn't play?
What? No, we didn't. No.
It's a simple question. Yeah. So no. you're making it out like he's a player that we need in this team right now. When we've hardly seen him.
Yes,
we've been alright without him. We've been alright.
I'm going to tell you something.
It's a player that we need.
Or Declan Rice in this team.
What is that energy? That's a stupid energy.
How's that
Zakaria
stupid analogy?
adds
The
something
point
to
that I'm
his
making, the point that I'm
It's
making is
about
that
the formation.
you're saying about Zakaria
Fuck.
because you want Enzo further forward. But what I'm saying to you is Zakaria has not been playing. He's not match fit. He hasn't been playing since he got back from that injury. He's looked just like the sloppy. He didn't
No,
look like the
he
Zakaria
hasn't
that was
played
for
since he's got back
against
since his
Man City.
injury.
He did play. He came on against Spurs.
I think we're missing
He
a big
came
point
on.
here.
He came on against Spurs.
Oh,
But what I'm saying, Jim, is you're mentioning players that we know aren't going to play. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm saying you should start these players.
Matt, let me ask you this real quickly. Even if we played Zakaria, let's just say Zakaria's in the midfield with Enzo and Kane. Do you have the confidence that we're going to put the ball in the back net?
I'm confident that Enzo can definitely make more opportunities to create for someone to put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah.
So are you confident in the players up front to put it in the back net?
Yeah, because I can see here and I can say I know Enzo as a cam, as an 8, who can give much more creativity to the forwards to get a goal than having someone like fucking Gallagher there. Or having someone like fucking Mount there.
This whole season.
Hang on, Jem, what's that guy's scarf? Wait, where's the scarf of your man's? Yeah, he's fucking garbage. And our old manager didn't want to put our only striker in there. I'm agreeing with you. They're fucking garbage. But starting Zakaria, hang on, but starting but Jem, you're not making sense. You're not making sense. Zakaria can.
That's more of the problem right now with us. It's the output from what we've seen
Yeah,
the last.
but we don't have. Jem, how are we going to fix the output then? How are we going to fix the output?
Get them in training and have them shoot 100
So the
fucking
only
shots.
reason. So this is the only reason.
The thing is, I'm not sure if you heard. I'm not sure if you heard the beginning of the stream. The first thing that I said is that if you want to play Enzo further forward, Zakaria is the best option to play in that role. And I would agree with you if he had been playing the past few games, but he hasn't. So we can't throw him in a game like this of this magnitude and expect him to come out of that game and be a world beater. It's not realistic right now.
He doesn't have to start, bro. But he can impact. He can come on the game and impact.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that. But what I'm saying is, Matt's saying just throw him in there, but you're forgetting who we're up against. It's Real Madrid.
Yeah,
I can't throw him in there right now. He hasn't been playing enough.
Mate, you know what? I'll be honest. I couldn't care. I'll throw him in there. I know it's not logical, but I'll throw him in there because at least it's something different. I couldn't care.
But so now we cussed Lampard for being illogical, the decision, but now we're saying, oh, just for Zakaria in there, I don't care if it's logical. Like,
yeah,
because as I said, it gains more. But hang on, you're talking about match fit, right? When was the last time he played? I know it's been a while, but I would rather start. Our team's that bad that I'd rather start an unfit Zakaria over fucking Gallagher, over fucking Loftus-Cheek, because they won't do shit. They won't do shit.
So your point is more about Enzo. We need Enzo in attacking position.
Declared you raised this joke 3 times, mate.
To create further forward. But for me, again, I said it earlier in the stream as well, that Enzo can still create from deep positions. Again, with a back three, Chilwell and Reece are going to play almost as wingers when we get the ball.
But then who creates as that 8?
Yard balls to them, and then they can create from wide areas.
Yeah, but it's better if the forward
hardly have the ball.
The better is, the more forward is, the better is. But then who plays that?
No, but I don't think him being further forward in a game like this, where we're going to have 8% of the ball, is that useful. I don't think
if we're playing 3 minutes, who's that 8? Because long balls isn't going to fucking work against Madrid. Right?
Matt, let me do this.
Our wing backs work.
No, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say it like this.
Hang on. Who will play the cam then forward? Who will play the cam?
No, Matt, I got you. Listen.
Last time that was fucking horrendous.
We don't have a cam.
Matt, let me just ask you two. Let me ask Matt 2 things so we can get this squared away. Matt, number 1, what formation do you want?
3-5-2.
Okay, you want that midfield. Who do you want your 2 up front?
Felix and
gotta be Havertz. It's gonna have to be.
Nah, I don't like Havertz.
Okay, so do you see how you just said 3-5-2? You want that midfield specifically, but then you're gonna say we're not gonna put the only other guy that can go up in that position.
But he can't.
As much as I dislike Havertz, I dislike Havertz just like you. It doesn't matter.
He can't finish the ball. There's a better chance.
Brother.
That's what for me. I'll stop with you then.
This is like you're talking about people not finishing the ball. Listen, do you think we all don't know that? Have we all not watched the games? And that's not. I don't mean this disrespectfully. What I'm trying to say is literally, he's going to put these players there. Like if you're telling me, okay, take your midfield, take the midfield you want. You think he's not going to put Havertz up front? You think he's not going to put Havertz up
Yeah.
front?
Havertz is playing.
Cully, are you?
That's why Jem's smiling. Jem knows. Jem knows Havertz is starting tomorrow.
You asked him. You
I
asked him
couldn't
what
care
does
what
he wanna
fucking
see?
Frank Lampard do.
You
You
asked
said
him
me.
what does he want to see?
Yeah, you said me. I couldn't give a fuck what that fat guy, fat Frank wants to do. I'm saying what I want to fucking do. I know he's not gonna do because he's stupid.
Okay,
I can decide what the fuck I
okay.
want.
So who do you start instead of Havertz? I just want
I
to hear
said
that. Who do you...
I'm Mudryk or Sterling. I want to start fucking Havertz. I couldn't care. I couldn't care. I couldn't care.
Every time it's played out.
Hey, Matt. I promise you.
One second. Declared says Mendy has a better record in the Champions League than Kepa. Drop Kepa. Got to Declared on that one.
Hey, Matt, you want to respond to that? That's directed at you.
Yeah,
Matt,
no,
did you
told me three times.
Did you watch the game against Leicester and see Mudryk's touches up top?
Mate, I couldn't. Mate, Don, I said Mudryk because I couldn't care who starts there. Because for me, my only reliability is Felix. I did say Sterling as well, but Sterling, Mudryk, Pulisic, put anyone there.
Yo, really quick for everyone that said, "Why did I laugh like that?" Because he said put Mudryk as a striker up front.
This is written in the stars. This is written in the stars for him to go in striker.
What do you think of this front two, Felix and Pulisic?
Pulisic has played up front too, but again, I don't like him as a front two. I think the best thing we have is Sterling.
He's more secure on the ball. Yeah, he's more secure on the ball. A little bit more technical because Mudryk, man, the ball just bounces off of him. And against Real Madrid, when you've got the ball, you need to make use of it. So we can't have stopping it.
He did play against Madrid.
Honestly,
giving them the fucking ball back. That's going to be a problem.
Also,
that's going to be a big problem. So we can't play him up front. We can't play him
something
up front.
Potter did that completely screwed this team was choosing to bring Mudryk, leaving out Aubameyang, and leaving out Batshuayi.
Oh my God.
That decision in the Champions League is going to be what's going to crucify us tomorrow. Because listen, Matt, when you say who would you put up front, I would hear you if we still had Aubameyang. Genuinely, I would hear you. I would hear you 1,000%. But
Kelly, we're all looking at it in hindsight though, because when we signed Mudryk and we put him in that team, the Champions League team, no one was complaining at the time. Because
wait. Don't speak for everybody, because I specifically said we have too many wingers in that team. I said it's not against Mudryk, but I didn't say for Aubameyang. I said we should have brought Batshuayi.
Look at the attack we were suffering with before we made those new signings in January. So I didn't see anyone complain, especially in the group.
Oh no, absolutely. I was complaining
about Batshuayi and Aubameyang for sure.
What is the purpose of Batshuayi when you have Koulibaly, you have Thiago Silva, you have Fofana coming back? You have
Cucurella. Bad boy body. I don't care about all of that.
My thing is, Couch, at the time, Koulibaly was performing poorly. Batshuayi was on a upward trajectory.
Position where you need goals. You know what I mean? Like, we brought in Felix, we brought in Mudryk, and it's imbalance. How many defenders do we have in the squad?
Yeah, exactly. We had to. We had to drop Batshuayi.
I don't know what you guys are seeing here, man.
No, this is what I'm saying. If you drop Batshuayi, fine, but then put in Aubameyang. You took the only recognized striker we have out of the team.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. It's imbalanced.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Like, I hear you on the defender. I'm just saying because of my bias towards Batshuayi. I'm saying I would have rather sat Koulibaly and put Batshuayi in his position, but that's another conversation. But what I'm saying is overall, we sat our own striker.
We don't use Chalobah. We didn't take Batshuayi. We put Chalobah, right?
Yeah, but
there's another one. Oh my God, another one. Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all, you're not forgetting. You forgetting. We have a lot of these defenders, but it's not the right ones, bro. It's not the right.
Who's the right one? Like, you watch
Batshuayi is the right one, Couch.
Batshuayi, and you think that he's like the next Maldini or something like that.
Nah, you see, you always take it to this level. You always take it to this level. Relax.
What has he done that to make you feel like he needs to be in the Champions League roster?
He's done more.
He's done more than some of our defenders, Couch. Factually, you got to give him some respect.
We're missing a key point here because AJ and Kelly, I agree with what you guys are saying. I would have loved Batshuayi to be in the UCL squad, right? But at that time, and if you look at the options that we've got at the back in comparison to who we've got up front, we've got one of the best records defensively in this league, like this season, right? So it's not the defense that's the problem; it's the attack that was a problem. So when Mudryk and Felix came in, and Enzo, logically it made sense to register them because we've got so many options at the back. I get what you're saying in terms of Chalobah. Yeah, he hasn't been played, but realistically, was Chalobah going to get swapped out, get dropped for Batshuayi? That was never going to
He's
happen.
homegrown.
So
He's homegrown.
we've homegrown as
And
well.
you
So
can
we've
only
got
sub out 3 players.
Yeah, we had way more options at the
I
back.
tell you, why don't we try some of our defenders up front? They might score a goal. You never know.
Jim, your
know,
mic's hiding your face, man.
Brother, our defenders were
don't-
carrying most of the goals this
He's
season.
hiding now. Jim's hiding.
Just to finish off, I don't remember any. I don't remember anyone.
When the ball comes in the box, look.
I don't remember anyone.
1
complaining
week he's
about
protecting
how
Havertz, next
Bro,
week.
I
he's
was
the
bad boy.
scene. Which
I'm the
one?
first bad boy body of shield. Always
I'm
remember
talking
that.
about
I
Joao
was
Felix.
definitely complaining about body of shield. I wasn't complaining about Mudryk because at that time the hype off of these players was there. Remember?
Yeah, but then who would be able
Enzo.
body of shield? I was
AJ.
because he played instantly. I was like, no, this guy
AJ,
has
who
to
do
be
you
in the
take out
team.
to bring in the Badia Shield? Who do you take out?
Chalaba, Koulibaly.
At that
Oh,
time,
well,
Homegrown. He doesn't even
I'm trying to
count on
remember
that.
who.
He doesn't even count. Like
Who?
Okay, so if Chalaba doesn't count, I would have traded Koulibaly at that time.
Still a
Hindsight.
winner.
That
I'm
wasn't
trying to
going to
remember
happen.
at that time. When was it? Like
Aspilicueta.
So you're taking out Koulibaly and who else?
I'm not taking out Koulibaly.
And
I still
listen,
got
I-
Koulibaly stocks.
Kelly said that.
Okay,
Kelly
so
said
let me
that.
just suck at
Yeah,
AJ for a
guys,
second.
chill.
AJ,
Go
who
one
do
at
you
a time.
take out
Go
to
one at
bring
a
in
time.
Badia
I'm trying
Shield?
to remember who I was taking out at that moment.
He
That's-
said because he said Chalaba cannot be the direct swap. I said I would argue Koulibaly.
Okay,
Then
so
he
I'm
said-
not asking you right now, Callie. I just want to know what AJ like. We're all adamant on bringing in Badia Shield. Who do you take out of Felix? Of the 3 players that were added, Felix, Mudryk, and Enzo, who
Mudryk.
comes out?
Mudryk.
Mudryk comes
Mudryk.
out? AJ
Nah,
Yeah.
at that time, he
Mudryk
wasn't
comes
coming
out?
out. We was hyped for that.
That's looking at it in hindsight. At the time, no one complained about
You
Mudryk
asked me
being.
Yeah,
that
at the
before. I
time,
gave you an answer.
Nah, there was definitely somebody that I would have chose. I just can't remember who I would have chose.
No, because he said, listen, you didn't hear his question. He said out of those
Keep in
3,
mind,
out
keep
of
in
those
mind.
3.
Hold on a second. Keep in mind, you can only register 3 players. You can't take some more players out to bring more players in. 3 players get registered. Of those 3 players, who do you take out to bring in Badia Shield?
What do you mean? You
Then
can't
based
take out?
on what
Was it
Couch is
Aubameyang
saying,
and
he's
Zakaria?
right.
You
And
can
then
only
we took Joao
register
Felix.
3 more players. That's the rule. You can
Yeah,
only
no.
register.
Bro, but they
Felix.
took out players like Aubameyang. He was
Yeah,
he
to
was
register
removed from the
Mudryk.
squad.
To register Mudryk.
And you don't
can
think that was
only
the wrong
register 3
decision.
more players.
Bro.
Couch, this is what I'm saying. You don't think that's the wrong decision? That
We
they
made
chose
the wrong
Mudryk over
decision.
Aubameyang, our only
I'll
striker.
tell you right here.
Anyway,
I wouldn't have
we
taken
can
out
go through,
Aubameyang, is what I'm telling you.
Okay, then we agree. I'm shutting the fuck up.
We can go to score predictions because, as usual, in every show, we always end up.
Let's not do
debating
that.
about
Let's not do that.
I
the,
don't
you know,
skip this
the
one.
crap that's going on at a football club. Unfortunately, all right. I'll start with this. I'll start with this scoring. If it's a 3-5-2, we're gonna win 2-1. If it's a 4 at the back, if it's a 4 at the back, it's gonna be 4-1. It's gonna be 4-1.
Bro,
Damn, Jen.
let's not put this energy out there, man. Let's just skip
But
the score.
I said 4-1 Chelsea, 4-1 Chelsea, or 2-1
Okay,
Chelsea.
okay.
Oh, all right.
Captain like
I
shit.
don't know, man. I give up with these guesses, but all I know is that I feel like Enzo's gonna fucking bang a screamer, top bins tomorrow. Watch. Okay, I'm gonna keep saying it until he does one.
He still hasn't scored, bro. He still hasn't scored, man.
Don't blame him because every time the ball lands out the box, it's Kovacic that decides to do
Yeah,
that
exactly, man. Exactly.
and knock it over the flipping. It's annoying. It's so
I
annoying.
ain't seen that shit.
Hassan, go on, mate. What are you saying?
I believe.
You believe?
I was gonna say. My brain's thinking Madrid will Palmos. My heart's saying 1-0 Chelsea. Havertz will score the winner, man. It's something that will happen, man. God. It's, if it's going to be Havertz's time, it's going to be now. He turns up to these. James gonna have
Turns
a
up
livid
every
one
once
if he
every
ends up
3
winning
months.
1-0 at the Bernabeu.
Yo, Couch
But
is
in all honesty, we're getting pumped. In all
registered?
honesty, but
Havertz,
I'm just gonna
You're
go
missing
for
the point, bro.
optimism.
You're missing the
I'm
point.
I'm going to finish here and say 1-0
You can
Chelsea. Come on,
deregister
boys.
3 players.
Okay,
Which is
okay.
what
I
we
hear you.
did. It doesn't allow you to bring in more players. You can deregister 3 players.
So
What are you saying,
three
Coach?
for three.
What are you saying, Coach?
What am I saying about what? The result tomorrow or this
Yeah.
allocation
Score
of like
prediction.
Yeah, what are you
players for
saying?
the Champions League? Because
Yes,
I don't know why we
we
spent so
got
much time on that. You can only deregister 3 players. That's what they did. And they chose Mudryk, Felix, and Enzo. Those are the 3 players. So anyways, yeah, I mean, I just can't see us scoring. Like, where are we getting goals from, man? So I'm going to go optimistic and say 0-0. We take it back to Bridge and hopefully find a result there. I'm going to say 0-0, though.
Forward, are you going with a Kai Havertz hat trick?
No, I'm not an idiot. I think the boys are going to perform tomorrow. I think they're going to give a really good performance. It's going to be back to the wall. It's going to be a lot of defending. We're going to have a lot of our counter attacks to try and create chances and cause them issues. We're going to probably waste a lot of counters like we always do. But I'm thinking 1-0 Madrid, which, to be honest, for us, is not a bad result. Taking them back to the Bridge. And then again, against Dortmund, we were able to overturn that. And I think against Madrid, we possibly could. But I'm getting a sneaky feeling that one of the fullbacks will score because, again, that's where our goal threat comes from. One of our wing-backs, I feel like over 90 minutes, we'll find a chance to fall their way. And we saw from very little, they've been able to score in recent weeks. Again, against Liverpool, obviously, Reece goal was cancelled, but it was a good finish. Chilwell's goal against Leicester was absolutely outrageous. And again, that's individual brilliance. That has nothing to do with managers, tactics, systems of play. That just comes down to players just performing and doing what they can do on the pitch. And Chilwell scored a crazy goal against Leicester. So again, it only takes a moment like that just to score, and then we have something to hold on to at the Bernabeu. So I'm going to be optimistic and say 1-1, and one of our wing-backs scored, and obviously probably Benzema will score for them. But again, 1-1 at the Bernabeu, given our state, that is a fantastic result. So
he lives rent free in his head. That's what it is, Sam. He lives rent free in his head. Callie, what you saying?
Up the Chelsea, win, lose, or draw. He starts a back 4, 5-1 to Real Madrid. If he starts a back 3, all right, let me be optimistic, man. He starts a back 3, 1-1 at the Bernabeu.
Enzo, what you saying?
I'm just gonna go the tie. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, there you go, Don.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking 1-1 like Cali. Every time I say more than 2 goals, we just never end up scoring, man. So yeah, I'm saying 1-1. I'm saying 1-1, man. I'm defeated, man. I'm just defeated. I can't wait for the season to finish. Jesus Christ.
Oh, me too,
But
man.
yeah,
I am
1-1.
So over this year. So
That's
over
me.
this
That's what I
season.
didn't watch. Do you know what? I watch every game of Chelsea. When I went out on the weekend, I could have watched the game. I did put it on for 10 minutes, and I just felt I started watching this, and I was just like, I'm done, man. It ain't ruining my day today. I'm out. I was like, I'm not gonna be pissed off for the night. Do you know what I mean? Especially when I was out in Manchester as well. Couldn't be asked.
One thing after another. Then I saw that thing as well. James Corden. What's going on with that? James Corden apparently. Yeah, apparently.
Nah, that was false.
It was bullshit. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
It
makes sense.
I knew it was cap. I knew it was cap. But what I'm saying is just the things that are being surrounded with Chelsea at the club at the moment. It's just a joke.
You know why?
I saw that. I just laughed and just kept scrolling. But yeah.
Hey, yo, listen.
Yeah,
Chelsea will need the money next season. Amazon, you know what to do.
Yes, Bralin. That's the energy, bruv. That's the energy. What you saying,
that's
mate?
him on Havertz too.
Yeah, mate. If he starts Enzo, Zakaria, Kante, I can see a 0-0 happening. But if it's anyone else, if Mickey Mount,
he's loading it up.
Hang on,
you might as well say freaking what's his name, Bakayoko, man.
Yeah, but they're shit. They're shit players. Like Zakaria's a good player. Mount shit, like you're gonna say. Again, Zakaria is another player who we never gave a big opportunity.
Because he's shit, man.
No, he's. Are you serious? No, he's not. So you think Loftus-Cheek Gallagher is better than him?
He's not shit. He's not shit. He's not shit.
No, you guys. I mean, I don't
very
think you've watched him
overrated in
properly,
the
Couch.
fan base.
He's not shit. He's not shit.
Hang
But
on,
I'm happy.
hang on.
I'm happy we're not
Overrated.
signing him
What do
permanently.
you
I
think
think
about
we can
overrated?
find better than that. We can find better than him.
That's not even
No,
gay.
I'm happy we're
No,
not.
but
Yeah.
hang on. He never got his chance to prove himself because the manager of Real started Gallagher and fucking Loftus-Cheek over him.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
but
did have a
which
sorry,
is
but if you're
embarrassing.
saying that Zakaria is the
Um,
difference between a good result and a bad result at the Bernabeu, then I'm
No,
sorry,
he's
he's
not, bro.
overrated because
And
it's
hang on,
Zakaria,
hang on.
bro.
When did I
Like,
when did I ever say it?
this
Putting
isn't
words in
Kai
my mouth. I would.
Makalade, this isn't
He,
Essien,
hang on.
it's
No.
Zakaria, bro.
Again, you're just putting random words in my mouth, and you're just creating your own analogy. My thing is, he will improve us. He's not going to win or lose us. What the fuck is that? He will improve us. An individual player isn't going to make us win or
But you
lose
think
in
he's
Chelsea.
better
Let them
than
know, Matt. Let them know. They chat.
He
Hey,
is
you think he's better
miles
than
clear than
Loftus-Cheek?
Loftus-Cheek. Miles clear better than Loftus-Cheek. Miles clear better than Gallagher. Mate, I'll
Not better than
mate, chat
Ruben. And the funny
Kovacic
like
thing
and
is, like,
Zakaria.
Zakaria's not
Mate,
even like
Kovacic,
he's not
mate,
even like a
You know
Zakaria.
what
natural
it
fitter,
is?
bro. Like,
It's
he's
still
Hang on, let
actually
me
about
the
he's a
grass is
box
greener.
to
They
box
haven't seen
player,
enough
bro.
of
Like,
Zakaria, and they're
Did
like,
you watch him
okay,
at Gladbach?
he was
Did you
miles
watch him
better.
at Gladbach?
You haven't seen him enough.
Zach
You
has had
haven't
an
seen him
impact.
enough
I watched
to
him at
know.
Gladbach.
He
I
has
watched him.
a
I
I
small
watched
just
him at
want to see him
Juventus.
because I haven't seen him. I get it. I'm like that
Did
too.
you watch
I
him at
haven't seen him,
Juventus?
so I want to see
Did
him.
you watch him at
He had a
Juventus?
small
he
impact.
hardly
I'm
played
not
for
gonna
Juventus because he was
He was
injured.
underwhelming at Juventus.
No,
He
he
was
played
horrible at
12 games.
Juventus. Horrible.
Watch
Yeah,
out.
12 games
Mate,
in
do you
what,
also
2 years?
remember?
That's horrible.
Maybe you guys weren't here, but I know Couch was here. I remember Couch was back in 2020, 2021 when we were talking about Tchouameni and Ricelings, and Zakaria was on that name too. And which, you know,
Not on my
like
list.
Kone is
He
now.
was
Like
Not
Kone,
on my
like
list.
yes, he was. Like Kone, no, but on the radar, like Kone was right now. Same
No,
club,
he
which
was. He was.
and
yeah, but being
Maybe
on
he
the
was on
not.
that
radar
list.
doesn't make you good,
We were on
though.
this
Being
stream
on the
trying
radar
to
doesn't make you
no,
good.
but we
He was
fans,
being
some
mentioned.
of us,
Matt,
we wanted him.
But
We
if
got him,
that was
but we
not. He was
never
not on my list. It was
used
too
him.
many for me. 100%.
Yeah, I know it wasn't on. I know it wasn't on your list.
This discussion, I only asked for match predictions. Jesus.
Anyway, as I said, if he starts his fucking Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, and fucking Mickey Mount, then we'll get slapped like 4-0. But if we play defensively quite well, I think we get a 0-0.
So Zakaria's the difference between us conceding
it,
4 and
Mickey Mouse.
conceding 0. That's mad. To
Yeah,
me,
because
that's
Mount's fucking
overrated. I
shit.
don't think he's
Mount's
that
just
good. I
Mount's
don't
just
think
fucking shit.
so. Zakaria's the difference between
Matt
4
is
goals and 0 goals. Fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
I mean, to be honest, Mount is a lot better than Kepa, and Kepa's in goal. So.
No, he's
Let's
not.
have it
No,
right.
he's not.
Mate,
You let me know when fucking Kepa or Mount wins us a final. Fucking Mount's already lost us 3 in a row.
to Kai Havertz for the goal in the Champions League final.
Nah, it doesn't count. Didn't score it.
It does. You can't ignore that part. You can't
Wait,
ignore that
Jem, sorry, I'm going to change my
Does
prediction
it
to
make
2-1
up for
because I
his
remember
3?
Kepa's in goal. And Kepa attack
Does he
against
make up for
Benzema.
his 3 FA
We
finals
know
he
what that's
lost
going to be
us?
like. So, yeah,
It wasn't good
2-1
enough
Madrid.
because Kepa weren't in the team. Yeah, that's it.
Mate.
2-1
Yeah,
Madrid.
exactly, Jem. Exactly. If Kepa starts tomorrow, guys, don't worry. Don't worry about Valverde. Don't worry about anyone.
I feel like
Kepa's
we're
in
losing
goals, don't
Benzema
worry.
has one shot on target and it goes through
Nah.
Kepa.
Don't worry, because
But, I
Mendy
get a
isn't
banger
passing the
going
ball
in.
to them.
Kepa's just
Nah.
attract bangers, you know. Like it's just gonna go.
Nah,
top
mate.
right.
If Mendy was there, mate, he'll give them assist them 3 goals.
Mate,
But Kepa and me and what Arita Balaga said, don't worry about it.
Kepa. That's he's not big enough. He doesn't even
Mendy
fit for
did
that
give
job.
up a goal last year in the same tie. So
Yeah, and then the year before that, he won. He was integral in us winning the Champions League. Like, yeah, he's had some bad performances
guess
for real, but like Kepa hasn't done a quarter of what Mendy's done in less than
Exactly.
the time he's been here. Like, he's not done a
Exactly.
quarter
Yeah,
of what
but
Mendy's
Mendy-
done for the club. Not even a quarter.
Facts. That's facts.
But Kepa's me and more, so
this
like
game suits
he's
Mendy
automatically better.
too. This game suits
Yeah,
Wait,
you're
Mendy.
right.
Kepa's better. Wait, Kepa's automatically better because of what?
Because me and more Arita Balaga, like that sums it up. And he wanted to be and he actually he got the captain's arm badge as well, so he's automatically better than.
I'm getting a little bit worried about you. I think you need to get checked.
Jim, hang on, Jim. What
That was
side are
very
you on
sus,
Havertz
that's why
now?
I
I'm
said that, but
confused.
I'm
I'm
not
so
gonna
confused what
do
side Jim's on now for Havertz. Today he's he's slamming him. Last week he was hyping him. I don't know, man.
You know, I just
You're
ride the wave.
got
bro.
bipolar.
I just ride the wave.
By the way,
I
fair
just
enough.
ride the wave like all these Chelsea fans. Anyway, big up, guys. Smash the likes, subscribe, and we'll be back again for hopefully a W for Chelsea against Real Madrid away.
Let's
and we
get
can be
it.
happy because Kai Havertz scored a hat trick, and everyone here that's
We'll
here
take
now
that.
probably won't turn up, other than maybe Couch because Havertz scored, and no one comes in after that because they run away. They only come in when he's really bad, so they can slag him off and moan about him in the
He's
chat.
bad every week, Jem, so we have a lot of opportunity, bro. He's bad every
Anyway,
week. So.
Rough.
like, subscribe, and go.
Club declared.
And Felix, put it in the back of the net. See you later.